because I'm used to the whole real and fake young master drama. The first thing I did upon returning to the wealthy family was to address my 4 sisters who were protecting the fake young master. If you don't want to treat me as your real brother, I don't intend to acknowledge you as my sisters. Since in your hearts Mu Xian is your only real brother, then you only have him as a brother. You can keep him if you want, just don't bother me anymore. These words caused the 4 young ladies of the Mu family to change their expressions drastically. Mu Fu and Pei Shuero were both angry and anxious. Seeing Pei Shuero looking upset, I spoke up. You and Dad, don't overthink it. Since I'm willing to come back, it means I've truly acknowledged you. But that's only acknowledging you. I have no interest in fawning over ungrateful people. I am the esteemed young master of Wang Xiqing. It's always others who try to curry favor with me. When did it become my turn to swallow my pride and force myself to please others? Since I've taken over Mu Chen's body, I consider myself to have a connection with him. Mu Fu and Pei Shuero treat me with genuine sincerity, so naturally I will be filial to them, treating them as my own parents. As for the others, it depends on the situation. Amidst the silence, a sudden sobbing sound arose. Everyone at the dining table unconsciously forgot their previous thoughts. Mu Xian, with teary eyes, sobbed. Mom, Dad, sisters, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Brother, please don't blame my sisters. Before she could finish speaking, I interrupted her unceremoniously. Alright, stop crying here. Do you think you're putting on a show? You can cry if you want, but I'm not in the mood to listen. What do you want? Worst case scenario, I'll leave and give you all peace. Saying this, I made a move as if to get up and leave. Mu Xian's face turned crimson with anger at my words. She was suddenly speechless. Xiao Chun, what nonsense are you talking about? This is your birth family. How can you just leave like that? Pei Shuero said hurriedly. She reached out and tightly gripped my wrist. Afraid I'd really leave if I got upset. This will always be your home. You can do whatever you like. Nobody in this family has the right to talk to you. After speaking, she secretly glared at her daughters. As expected, daughters are born to collect debts. Director Mu also glared fiercely at his daughters. That's right, you are the master of this house. Whoever can't stand you can get lost. From now on, do whatever you want to be comfortable. Let's see who dares to have any opinion of you. The attitude of Director Mu and his wife was very satisfactory to me. These two are at least blood relatives. If these two were also confused and not close, insisting on wronging their own son to favor the daughter-in-law, then my attitude towards them would also be average. Seeing this, Mu Xian felt wronged and sad. I wished I could disappear and leave here immediately, but she really didn't have the courage. She was no longer the young master of the Mu family. Now she is just a daughter-in-law living under someone else's roof. Thinking of this, her heart felt even more uncomfortable. Pei Shuero looked at Mu Xian and comforted her softly. Xiao Xian, don't cry here anymore. Didn't we talk about this before? Xiao Cheng is Xiao Cheng and you are you. There is no conflict between you. Just stay at home with peace of mind. Mu Xian was still sobbing nonstop. I just feel too sorry for my brother. My movement of taking a bite of food paused. Are you done yet? You say you are sorry for me, but I haven't seen you actively leave the Mu family. Since you have chosen to stay, don't always put on that wronged face. It's really disgusting to look at. Also, I am not your biological brother. From now on, please call me by my name directly. Of course, I can see what Mu Xian is planning. Isn't it just trying to put on a wronged and pitiful appearance, so that everyone will dote on her and protect her? This kind of low-level tactic is not enough to see. If she loves to act, let her act. But if she doesn't know what's good for her and is ignorant, then don't blame me for not giving her face. The expression on Mu Xian's face froze instantly. Felt like being slapped in the face in public. Her face alternated between green and red. The youngest among these sisters usually has the most impatient temper and personality. Jian Zhuang was about to rush out to defend Mu Xian, but was held back tightly by Mu Wanting beside her. Mu Wanting looked at me sitting across from her, her eyes full of curiosity and scrutiny. This younger brother seems truly special. Mu Wanting's eyes flickered slightly. Welcome back home. Mom and Dad are absolutely right. This is your home from now on. Do whatever feels comfortable for you. Don't worry about anyone else's feelings. We were indeed negligent today. We thought you and Dad wouldn't be home so soon, so we all went out on errands. Please don't overthink it. We're all genuinely happy you're home. I glanced at her indifferently and didn't reply, seeing their eldest daughter speak up first. The mother Mu's expression eased slightly with satisfaction. She turned and instructed the servant beside them to continue serving the dishes. They had ordered the kitchen to prepare a feast today. All sorts of flavors were prepared. They didn't know what I liked to eat. Oh Dad, where did Xiao Chen live before? Where are his former family members? How will these relationships be handled from now on? It was Mu Wanting who suddenly remembered something. and asked with a casual air. After asking, she noticed Mother Mu's expression slightly, regardless of the subtle shift in her heart. Dad, why did you suddenly stop talking? Is there something unspeakable about this matter? We are all a family now. Your brother's matters are naturally our matters. There's really no need for you to keep hiding it from us. This meal doesn't seem like it can be eaten in peace. If you want to know, you should ask me directly. I picked up a napkin and gently wiped my mouth. I was adopted by an old Taoist priest when I was young. I lived in a dilapidated Taoist temple. That temple was built on a remote, desolate mountain. The conditions were very poor, and there wasn't much incense offered. My master and I could barely fill our stomachs, so I never formally attended school before. The current literacy and reading were all taught by my master at the temple. I rarely went down the mountain since I was a child. My master passed away 3 months ago due to old age. After my master left, I lived alone at the temple, until father finally found me a while ago, and then brought me back here. I paused, then added, that Taoist temple is now completely closed, even if I'm not there anymore. Of course, if I ever feel like going back, I could still go back and live my life alone. I finished recounting my past experiences in a few words. My tone remained calm and indifferent throughout. There were no complaints or dullness in my words, nor was there any blame directed at fate. Shui Rou and Mu Fu were filled with a confirmed heartache. Both husband and wife involuntarily teared up. The 4 sisters, Mu Wanting included, were also stunned, their emotions complicated. They never expected that their own brother should have been the esteemed young master of the Mu family. All this time they were unaware. The one who should have been cherished and doted on by the whole family. Mu Yue couldn't help but feel a bit guilty. He felt his attitude just now was indeed too unclear. Mu Xian knew in her heart this was bad. She was convinced I was absolutely manipulative. What I said just now was clearly intentional. Intentionally playing the victim to gain everyone's sympathy. He reflexively wanted to apologize again. But then he suddenly remembered my attitude just now. The words at the tip of his tongue were swallowed back and changed the wording. He rephrased it, thinking he was being clever. Xiaochen, now that you're home, your life from here on will only get better. You've just returned home, so you're probably still adjusting. If there's anything you're not familiar with or don't understand, feel free to come find me anytime. I'll do my absolute best to help you. If you don't mind and are willing, I can take you out and show you around, so you can get used to the environment here as soon as possible. Oh, all right, thank you. Pei Shuero held my hand tightly, and also said these words, her eyes showing deep concern and guilt. Mom, I'm fine. My master and I were quite good before, although the living conditions were indeed a bit tough. The Taoist temple was quiet and comfortable, and my master doted on me very much. I've actually been very happy my whole life. What I just said isn't untrue. The real Mu-chan was indeed very happy before. For all these years, although the living conditions at the Taoist temple weren't great, his master always doted on him dearly, and gave him the best he could possibly give. And there were hardly any people at the Taoist temple usually. The surrounding relationships were very simple and pure. His daily life was lived without fear or regret. When I was little, I'd go to the back mountain to play with animals when I was lonely. He could have a lot of fun playing in the mountains by himself. Life was carefree and without worries. Mu-chun once said that he never felt hardship. For him, true hardship was when his master was critically ill, about to pass away with no cure. His master was the only family he had in this world, his last anchor for all his emotions and spirit, and the first time he experienced the pain of separation and death. After his master passed, he stayed alone in the Taoist temple, with no one to talk to, living each day lonely and desolate. Half a month before he was found by the Mu family, Mu-chun was gathering firewood in the back mountains and accidentally fell off a cliff. He was alone on the remote, barren mountain, and no one knew he had fallen. So he died silently. After death, his soul went directly to Rebirth City. I happened to return to the city to handle daily affairs, saw Mu-chen's soul and found his destiny to be peculiar. According to his birth date, 8 characters and facial features, he should have had a destiny of great wealth and prosperity, a smooth life. This is an extremely rare destiny of both blessings and fortune. Such a destiny is usually the reward for accumulating virtues over lifetimes. Yet he now appears in Rebirth City, which proves he died an unfortunate death outside. His destiny, which should have been his, was deemed to have changed. It just so happened that there was a major problem in Wangxi City recently. I needed to come to the mortal realm in person, so I proactively made a fair deal with him. I used Mu Chen's identity in the human world to handle things. Each got what they needed. That's how I ended up experiencing all of this at the Mu family today. But they definitely won't believe what I just said, especially this couple, Father Mu and Pei Shuero. They'll only feel their real son is a considerate and kind child. They'll think these words are just to appease them. In their hearts, they pity their real son. Ming Ling was destined to support the young master from birth, but he was abandoned and suffered hardship for over 10 years for nothing. They vow to compensate their real son doubly from now on. The atmosphere at the dining table grew heavy because of my words. Everyone harbored complex thoughts. The four Mu sisters stopped causing trouble. They quietly lowered their heads and ate in silence. Father Mu and Pei Shuero's hearts were entirely focused on me. They would gently ask from time to time if the food suited his taste. Xiao Chun, which dish do you prefer? Would you like Mom to get you some hot soup? They took such meticulous care of me. Mu Xian, sitting to the side, was clearly disheartened. Seeing this, Mu Yue tried to speak a few times. But when his gaze swept over me, his own brother, he suddenly remembered what I had just said. The words at the tip of his tongue were involuntarily swallowed back. I was solely focused on savoring the delicious dishes on the table. This scene was interpreted differently by the Mu family. Pei Shuero looked at me with teary eyes, her heart aching beyond measure. It was obvious that her son hadn't had many opportunities to eat such a lavish and delicious meal while cultivating on the mountain. After all, living in a remote, dilapidated Taoist temple in the wilderness, the hardships of his living conditions were imaginable. Just being able to fill his stomach each day was considered good. How could he possibly have had the chance to taste delicacies? Pei Shuero had already secretly made up her mind to cook different dishes for me every day from now on. After dinner, the children all sat politely in the living room, ostensibly to bond with me who had just returned home. I sat comfortably in the center of the living room on a large leather sofa, interestingly staring at the oversized LCD TV in front of me. I watched the images on the screen with great enjoyment. Xiaochen, do you really like watching TV? Pei Shuero asked with a gentle smile. My eyes were fixed on the TV, and I nodded vigorously. This TV is truly fascinating. The images on it are much more interesting than the opera on the stage. I haven't been in this bustling mortal world for a long time. I didn't expect the human world to have changed so much now. I feel like a bumpkin who just arrived in the city. Pei Shuero's eyes welled up again upon seeing me like this. Her poor biological son, who had already grown so big, had never even properly watched television. Just as I was thinking about the TV program, a commercial suddenly came on. Seeing this, Pei Shuero immediately picked up the remote control on the table. Xiao Chun, Mom will change the channel for you. The drama you were watching just now finished today. Let's switch to another program. There are many other good and interesting TV programs. I nodded obediently, acting extremely well-behaved and obedient. Pei Shuero casually pressed a button on the remote and changed the channel. This channel was now showing a family drama. She then put down the remote control. But after a while, the expressions of everyone in the family changed, especially Mu Xian, who was sitting beside me. Her fair and delicate face instantly turned red, her eyes filled with unconcealed shame and frustration. It was just that coincidental. The plot being shown on TV was the drama of the true and false young master. The plot playing on the television was precisely the fake versus real young master drama. The story of two children whose identities were accidentally swapped from birth. And today it just happened to reach the scene where the real young master was found. Pei Shuero stared at the TV screen, completely stunned. I casually switched channels. The plot being broadcast on the screen was identical to the situation at home. This scene was absolutely awkward. The protagonist in the show was taken back by his biological parents. The biological son returned home. The adopted son hadn't left. Not only did they not send him away, but they spoiled him even more, treating him better than their own son. They cherished the adopted son like the apple of their eye, while the biological son was treated like a weed. The living room was instantly filled with a strangely awkward atmosphere. And yet, I casually commented, "Sigh, people in this world, why would they favor an adopted son over their biological son? Even though he's been raised with them for many years, it's only natural to be reluctant to let him go. But you can't mistreat your own son." I shook my head repeatedly, expressing my confusion. The Mu family thought I was making veiled remarks. Too bad they couldn't produce any evidence. Although they didn't send Mu Xian away, they were definitely not playing favorites. Nor did they neglect or mistreat Mu Chen. They truly were reluctant to part with Mu Xian. After all, they had raised him for over 10 years. Their feelings had built up over time. It wasn't possible to just say goodbye and be done with it. But they clearly distinguished between the two. Mu Xian would never take precedence over Mu Chen. So they thought. Mu Chen was just commenting on the TV show. He definitely wasn't subtly criticizing them. Even if he was indeed making subtle digs, they were aimed at his sisters. Mu Fu and Pei Shuero secretly comforted themselves, hiding their guilt. Initially, they had considered sending Mu Xian away. Mu Xian was about to become an adult. He could buy an apartment outside, and they could set up a living allowance for him, and support him through college. But their daughters vehemently opposed this. They strongly persuaded them against it. Plus, they themselves were soft-hearted. themselves. The father glared fiercely at his daughters. Mu Xian couldn't stand it anymore. Her 5 fingers, her face, she whimpered lowly. She turned and ran upstairs. I looked at her blankly. What's wrong with him now? Mu Yue's face was grim. He forced himself not to speak. Pei Shuero smiled a little forcedly. It's nothing. Probably. Maybe just not used to it yet. I frowned slightly. Then I'll come back to live from now on. Won't he cry every day then? That would be so annoying. Pei Shuero was suddenly choked speechless. She felt a little tired inside. Are you doing this on purpose? Mu Yue finally couldn't help it. I immediately looked innocent. I blinked innocently. Doing what on purpose? Mu Yue gritted his teeth and looked at me. You just deliberately provoked him. Mom and Dad said they'd make it up to you. What else are you unhappy about? You won't be happy until Mu Xian is forced out? I finally understood now. I threw the remote control on the table. I stood up immediately. I looked coldly at Mu Yue. Then are you going to force me out? To make way for your good brother. I can't even speak in my own home. I have to consider the feelings of the fake young master when I speak. After speaking, I turned and left. The living room instantly fell silent. The father aggressively approached. He said a few words to his youngest daughter. Mu Yue nodded repeatedly. I warn all of you, if you ever treat Mu Chun like this again, I'll kick all of you out. His expression became extremely stern. You all need to understand. Mu Chun is your real brother. Your full brother. When he and Mu Xian swapped identities, he was much more innocent than Mu Xian. You're afraid Mu Xian will be wronged. Why don't you think about it? How much suffering your own brother has endured all these years. How much hardship he's gone through. The Mu family doesn't mind continuing to raise him, but he absolutely cannot step over Mu Chun. Mu Fu's gaze fell on his youngest daughter. His expression was very grim. You and Mu Xian are about the same age, and have always had the best relationship. I understand you protecting him, but you need to be clear. Mu Chun did nothing wrong, and he owes no one of you anything. I'm only saying this once. From now on, anyone who dares to make Mu Chun sad again, I'll skin them alive. Mu Wanting's lips twitched slightly. Feeling like this was aimed directly at her. Dad, please don't worry. We know what we're doing. Mu Wanting spoke, explaining today's events again. We thought you wouldn't be back so soon. That's why we agreed to go watch her compete. If we had known you'd be back early, I definitely wouldn't have gone to the competition. Mu Ruolan and Mu Yaqin nodded. These two are twin sisters. Mu Fu and Pei Shuero went upstairs with dark expressions, leaving the four sisters in the living room staring at each other. Eldest sister, don't you think? Our brother is a bit. Mu Ruolan paused, taking a long time to find a suitable word to describe their newly returned brother. Special. His personality is quite special. Mu Wanting recalled the events of the evening and nodded in agreement with her brother. He's not someone who'll back down. He can verbally dismantle someone with just a few words, but it seems like he wasn't doing it on purpose. He didn't intend to provoke anyone. He just says what's on his mind. He's just not good at softening the blow. His personality is a bit too blunt. She unexpectedly thought of her other brother's behavior. Her brows furrowed involuntarily. Mu Xian is indeed too sensitive. If she doesn't adjust her mindset in time, who's the one suffering, her or herself? Just like I said before, even if we lived with her for over a decade, our bond was deep and we favored her, it's impossible to repeatedly wrong our own flesh and blood brother for her. So this mentality has to change. Mu Ruolanting turned to look at Mu Yue. You and Mu Xian are closest. You're also closest in age. You need to guide her well. Tell her to stop overthinking. When Mu Cheng returns, Mom and Dad will definitely show favoritism. That's only natural. But it won't be different for her. She's still Mom and Dad's son. Mu Yue, though young and impulsive, was by no means unintelligent. She nodded at the exact spot. I understand. And also, Mu Wanting's expression turned serious, exuding the authority of an elder sister. Be kinder to Mu Cheng from now on, or don't blame me for dealing with you. After disciplining the youngest sister, Mu Wanting also got up and returned to her room. Mu Ruolan and Mu Yaqing exchanged a glance. Let's go. Mu Yue was so angry he couldn't take it. What kind of situation is this? We all did it together. How come I'm the only one blamed in the end? I don't care what people downstairs think. I went back to my room and immediately shut the door. This room was prepared with great care by my parents. It was decorated very exquisitely. Whether it was the design or the items, they were all in a style that young boys like. Luckily, it wasn't pink. Otherwise, if I had to stay in a room like that, I was afraid I wouldn't be able to sleep all night. As soon as I entered the room, I sensed a trace of unusual fluctuation in the air. I waved my hand gently, setting up a barrier around the room to prevent anyone from noticing anything unusual and causing unnecessary suspicion. Right after that, out of thin air, a man wearing a black robe and a demon mask appeared. The man walked up to me and knelt down, his brow furrowed with concern. Your Highness. I looked at him and frowned. What are you doing here? After asking, I felt a bad premonition. As expected, the lord of the city sent me to deliver a message. Young master is back in the city of the dead. Didn't he always stay in the sixth palace? How long has it been since he returned to the city of the dead? Why is it that I just arrived in the human world, and he's already back in the city of the dead? Before I left, I still had a glimmer of hope, thinking that, after he finished his business, he'd go straight back. Negative. Young master hasn't even returned to the city of the dead yet. Unexpectedly, things didn't go as I wished. As soon as I slipped out, he followed and went back. Thinking of what he had said before, a hint of guilt flashed in my eyes. Young master was in the third kind back then, and absolutely not allowed to come to the human world without permission. City affairs must be discussed first, but I happened to meet Mu-chun, and felt the timing was just right. While young master was away, I arranged everything myself. With young master's strict nature, I'm afraid I'm going to get lectured this time. Responding to your highness, the lord of the city has already returned to the city of the dead. Upon discovering that your highness came to the human world without permission, the lord was very angry, so he ordered me to deliver this message. After speaking, he stood up and made a gesture to deliver the message. Just then, a faint light flashed in midair, and an envelope appeared out of nowhere. Then the envelope slowly disappeared. A line of text clearly emerged, fluctuating slightly in the air. It quickly dissipated into the air. Although the time was very brief, I saw it very clearly. It was said to be a line of text, but it was actually just 4 characters, not "will be arriving." This is truly a cause for worry. Sister coming to the mortal world. Not ideal. The masked man's voice was emotionless. Your highness, no one can change the adult's decision. Meaning I should stop overthinking, and just get ready for his arrival. I fell silent instantly. The man quickly disappeared from the room. I was like a deflated balloon. Sticky all over. My elder sister is coming. How exactly does he plan to arrive? If he comes as a master, then fine. He definitely won't last long like that. Thinking that, I reignited my hope. As for him seeking retribution, I did it for Wang Xiqing's sake too, considering that he won't be too harsh. On the third day, when the Mu family members came downstairs, they saw me watching TV in the living room. Their footsteps instantly stopped, blinking their eyes hard, looking at the large clock in the living room. For a moment, everyone fell silent. It was just past 6 in the morning. Hearing the movement behind me, mesmerized by the TV, I divided my attention. He turned his head and glanced at the person coming downstairs, and casually greeted them. Good morning. After the greeting, he immediately turned back to continue watching. He was so focused, it was like he didn't want to waste a single second. Pei Shuero adjusted herself and snapped back to reality. She walked quietly towards me, and slowly sat down beside me. First, she glanced at the TV screen, which was playing the morning news. Xiaochen, if you like watching TV so much, why don't mom have someone install one in your room, so you can watch it in your room too? Pei Shuero now just wanted to do everything she could, to fulfill all her son's wishes. My eyes lit up when I heard this, and just as I was about to nod in agreement, Mu Wanting, who had come down from upstairs, spoke before I could. Mom, that's not really appropriate. To install a TV in a small room. What if he stays up all night watching you? What if he can't sleep at night? Is he still growing? That made the mother think. Seeing her son's obsession with watching it, she thought about putting a TV in his room. He'd definitely stay up all night watching. That's absolutely out of the question. He quickly changed his words. My apologies, Mom. I didn't think it through. That really won't work. We can't disturb little Chen's rest. Let's just watch it in the living room instead. Mom can watch with you too. We can even discuss the plot together, son. His dream of watching TV all night was dashed. I gave Sister Mu a resentful look. This eldest sister clearly dislikes me. She won't even let me watch TV. In comparison, it seems like my other sisters are much nicer. Pei Shuero noticed her son was unhappy. She found it amusing yet felt a pang of sympathy. What kid nowadays doesn't play on their phone? They don't care much for TV at all. But her son treasures it so much. Who would believe this if I said it out loud? She cooed softly. It's really inconvenient to put it in your room. It'll affect your sleep too much. Besides, you can't always stay in your room. Your room is for sleeping. If you want to watch in the living room. No one in the family watches much TV. No one will fight you for it. I thought about it and understood. I nodded obediently. Then I emphasized one point. Just don't you dare fight me for the remote. Pei Shuero couldn't help but chuckle. Her eyes were full of affection. All right. All the TVs in the house are yours alone. Whoever dares to fight you for the TV, I'll help you beat them up. She then shot a pointed look. Her daughters, who were successively coming downstairs, Mu Wanting's mouth twitched slightly. How long has it been since she last watched TV? How could she possibly fight with her little brother for it? If anyone's gonna snatch it, it'll be fourth sis. Mu Wanting glanced at Mu Xian. Mu Xian immediately looked like her tail had been stepped on. Eldest sister. What are you staring at me for? Do you think I'd fight over the TV with her? She's not that childish. As soon as she jumped up to retort, I sitting in the living room, Pei Shuero, the other 3 daughters of the Mu family, and Mu Xian who had just come downstairs, and Mu Fu all looked at her. Their gazes varied. I slowly added, even if you wanted to fight me, it depends on whether you have the ability. Pei Shuero immediately yelled at her youngest daughter. From now on, you're not allowed to fight over the TV with Xiaochen. Did you hear me? If I find out you're bullying her, I'll have your dad take away all your allowance. Not a penny left for you. Mu Wanting immediately looked wronged like a frog, covering her cheeks with an innocent expression, and then glared at me several times. I couldn't even be bothered to spare her a glance. She was so angry that she didn't even want to eat breakfast. Normal kids at this age are usually in their senior year of high school. Mu Xian is supposed to take her college entrance exam next June. Mu Chun should be the same, but she used to live at the Taoist temple. Never received formal, systematic education, and her grade level is what it is. So what grade should she start from? Can she keep up if she goes straight into senior year? The grade level thing is easy to handle, but how many grades to skip is the worry. The more Mu Fu thought about it, the tighter his brows furrowed. He brought up school with me. I can use this opportunity to understand the world. Mu Xian, standing nearby, rolled her eyes. With a smile, she suggested, Dad, why don't you let Xiaochen join our class? That way I can take care of her and help her with her studies. I didn't even look at her. Mu Fu actually felt a bit tempted, but he was worried his son wouldn't be able to keep up with the coursework. If he can't keep up, his grades will be too poor. Mu Xian's grades have always been excellent. When you compare the two like this, and the Mu family switched their babies, it's not something that can be hidden in their circles. They never even thought about hiding it. By then, everyone will know, and they'll definitely compare the two. What if it hurts our son's self-esteem? Mu Wanting said calmly, Dad, you don't need to worry too much about this. If little brother can't keep up, we can just hire a tutor for one-on-one tutoring. We can also teach him ourselves when we have time. The semester is about to end. Little brother can enroll next semester. During this time, he can catch up on his studies. I believe it won't be a big problem. Pei Shuero's eyes lit up suddenly. She happily clapped her hands. That's right. How could I not have thought of that? Can we hire a tutor? Except for the 4th one, who isn't great at studying. The 3 of you have excellent grades. Tutoring little Chun for his senior year courses will be no problem at all, she said, making her own decision. Let little Chun stay for 2 more days first. Then the 3 sisters will take turns. Each of you will tutor one subject, helping little Chun get familiar with the school courses as quickly as possible. Mu Wanting nodded. Okay. Since big sister agreed, the 2nd and 3rd sisters also nodded. Mu Yue didn't know whether to be grateful or annoyed that she was being arranged. I originally planned to refuse, but seeing that all 3 sisters had agreed, and Pei Shuero was so enthusiastic, I silently suppressed my refusal. Mu Xian bit her lower lip, her lowered eyelids, concealing the deep hurt in her eyes. The matter of the Mu family raising the wrong child is no longer a secret in their circles. The parents never intended to hide it. They had even planned it out long ago. Once I'm familiar with the environment, we'll hold a banquet to invite the socialites in the circle to attend, and I'll publicly reclaim my identity, so I wouldn't be laughed at later when I went out and be wronged. Although I don't really like these kinds of events, I understand they're a necessary step. Otherwise, the outside world would definitely speculate wildly, thinking that I, the real young master, wasn't welcome, or even suppressed by Mu Xian, the fake young master. Once I'd slightly adjusted to the new environment, Pei Shuero couldn't wait to drag me to the big mall for some frantic shopping. Except for my eldest sister and father who had to work, everyone else was dragged out to shop with me, and conveniently Mu Xian was the only one left behind. Mu Yue sat in the passenger seat, pouting angrily, glaring at me from the rearview mirror every now and then. I didn't even bother to lift my eyelids. I knew exactly why he was mad just by thinking about it. Mu Xian didn't want to come along himself, so was I supposed to beg him to join? When we got to the mall parking lot, Mu Yue rushed to park the car. Mu Ruolan and Mu Yaqin accompanied their mother, and walked into the mall entrance with me to begin today's shopping spree. The Mu family daughters were in charge of carrying bags the entire time. Pei Shuero affectionately linked her arm through mine. As we walked, I suddenly stopped. I turned my head and listened carefully for a moment. Mom, did you guys hear a strange noise? I think I just heard a dull thud, like something fell from a high place and hit the ground with a heavy crash. And it definitely wasn't an ordinary object. That sound was very peculiar. Pei Shuero listened closely with me. No, I didn't. This is a big mall after all. It's very lively here. Even if there was some noise coming through, it would definitely be the sound of the crowd. Just as she was speaking, Mu Ruolan noticed something was wrong up ahead. and faint screams could be heard. Mom, it looks like something happened up ahead. My eyes flashed slightly. I grabbed Pei Shuiro's wrist in return. Mom, let's go take a look. Before anyone else could stop them, I had already grabbed my mother and we sped off, pushing our way towards where the incident happened, leaving the sisters standing there, looking at each other in bewilderment. Why is she so nosy? Mu Wanting rushed over, blocking. Mu Rulin glanced at her indifferently. If Mom hears this, we'll get scolded again for sure. Mu Wanting rolled her eyes in exasperation. Let's hurry and follow them to see, in case something really goes wrong. Mom and little brother could be in danger. Mu Yakin said calmly. She started walking to follow. Mu Rulin also quickly followed. Mu Wanting walked unhurriedly at the back. Pei Shuiro was pulled by her son as they jogged. They quickly arrived at the crowded area. Watching her son push his way into the crowd, the corners of her mouth twitched a few times. You really wouldn't know. Little Chin always seemed so aloof, but it turns out he's such a kid who loves a good spectacle. Oh my goodness! Doesn't he look even cuter? But when Pei Shuiro saw the scene ahead clearly, his face instantly turned ashen white. He exclaimed in terror. Instinctively blocked in front of me. Felt this wasn't safe enough. She quickly turned and covered my eyes, so I wouldn't see this horrifying scene before me. A serious accident had occurred in the mall. I just wanted to see what was going on. Why did you cover my eyes? I am a person from the underworld. I can tell how this person died with a single glance. If it was truly a death by fate, then they would have to go to my city of the dead. Then they would become one of my subordinates. The city of the dead is really overcrowded these days. Mom, I'm not a child anymore. I'm not scared. I gently pulled Pei Shuiro's hand away, and said with extreme calmness. Pei Shuiro rolled her eyes at me unhappily. How are you not a child anymore? Your birthday hasn't even passed yet. What a miscalculation. I, a dignified ancient ghost of 1,000 years, have now become a child. Mu Rulin caught up and also stood in front of me. I helplessly rubbed my forehead. Mall security came out to handle it immediately. At the same time, they also immediately called the police, and called an ambulance. They started dispersing the dense crowd of onlookers. Pei Su-ro wouldn't let me gossip. She must have pulled me away quickly. After all, this incident had an effect. Pei Su-ro had bought most of what she wanted, so she thought about heading back home, and coming back to shop another day when she had time. With a life-or-death incident happening at the mall, it really made one feel a bit unlucky. Mom, you guys go wait in the car. I'm gonna get some air in the hallway. Pei Su-ro wanted to go with me, but I refused resolutely. I'm not a 3-year-old baby anymore, needing a parent to stay by my side just to get some air. I just pushed myself to the long corridor. When I stood by the window in the corridor, a young man walked over. He was startled to see me standing by the window, then lowered his head and hurried away. My gaze fixed on his retreating figure. My nostrils twitched slightly. I took a gentle sniff of the air. I smelled a hint of death. I deliberately dawdled by the window. That guy quickly came back. He saw me still standing by the window and paused for a moment. He seemed surprised I hadn't left yet. I waited for him to approach, nonchalantly. I sniffed again carefully, confirming I had indeed detected that scent of death from him. Although the scent was faint, I couldn't help but glance at him more intently. What are you looking at? Never seen a handsome guy before? The other party immediately noticed my gaze, and retorted as if his sore spot had been stepped on. Then, without rushing, he quickly walked away. That retreating figure reeked of guilt and panic no matter how you looked at it. If someone is about to die, he'll carry a strong aura of death. That man just now clearly didn't. Then there are only two possibilities. Either he picked it up from someone else, or he killed someone with his own hands. The former has too many possibilities to make a judgment. The latter situation is much simpler and clearer. I couldn't help but think of what happened in the mall earlier. The young girl who fell from upstairs. I calmly clapped my hands and turned to leave. Pei Shuiro was waiting in the car, anxious as a blush. After experiencing such a terrifying event, she always had a bad premonition in her heart, fearing that her son, whom she had just found, would have an accident. Until they safely returned home, her worried heart finally relaxed completely. She quickly put the mall incident out of her mind, busily organizing the things she bought. As for me, I collapsed on the sofa as soon as I got home, turned on the TV and continued to watch with great relish, turning into a hardcore TV fan. Mu Rulin and Mu Yaching went back to their rooms to focus on their studies. Both sisters were academic powerhouses. They would be seniors next year, and their studies had become extremely demanding. Mu Ruwei was the most idle, slumped casually on the living room sofa, watching his mother busy upstairs. He couldn't help but mouth off out of boredom. Unable to resist, he started to mock. Country bumpkin. What's so great about TV? You've never seen the world. My eyes were fixed on the TV screen. Hearing her words, I nodded, and admitted it with utter composure. Yeah, I grew up in a Taoist temple in the deep mountains. Of course I haven't seen the world. I am the Prince of Wangqing Murong. After my sister handed over the affairs to me, I was so busy I didn't have time to breathe. I truly had no time to pay attention to worldly trivialities. I only knew the general situation, but now that I've replaced Murong's identity, I must seize this time to understand this world. I think watching TV is the fastest way to know world affairs without leaving home. How convenient is that? Mu Ruowei was thoroughly choked. You're absolutely doing this on purpose, aren't you? Trying to make us feel guilty. You want us to feel guilty towards you. That way, your position in this family will be secure. Mu Ruowei droned on beside me. I gave her an affectionate look, looking at her like she was an idiot. My peripheral vision caught the sound of footsteps coming down the stairs. I loudly tattled without any psychological pressure. Mom, Mu Ruowei is scolding me again. She's calling me a bumpkin. She also said I'm deliberately trying to make you feel guilty, trying to make you feel sorry for me. She dislikes me that much. Does she want to force me out of this family? Mu Ruowei's eyes widened even further. She almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Before she could react in any way, her ears were fiercely pulled. Calm down, you calm down. Don't listen to her nonsense. I absolutely did not. Mu Ruowei grimaced in pain. She still managed to loudly defend herself. I pointed my finger at her nose. My cheeks were puffed out. There was still a trace of perfectly placed grievance on my face. She said it with her own mouth. She called me a bumpkin. Said I'd never even seen a television. I've already explained. I grew up in a mountain Taoist temple. It's normal to not have seen much of the world. Then she started talking about me. Mu Ruowei opened her mouth, wanting to retort. But these were indeed the words she had spoken. But that's not what she meant at all. I think you're asking for a spanking. Come here. See how I'll deal with you today. Don't disturb your brother watching TV here. Pei Shuero wasn't soft-hearted at all this time. She fiercely grabbed her ear and pulled her aside, determined to discipline this brat properly. I don't know what's going on with this child. She clearly doted on Mu Xian so much. Spoiled her like a rare treasure. Why is she targeting him everywhere since Xiao Chun returned? Clearly, Xiao Chun is her own brother. A sibling bond from the same mother. So indecisive and insensible. Seems like I haven't disciplined them enough. I coldly glanced at Mu Ruowei, who was crying out in pain, with not a shred of sympathy in my heart. I even gave her an extremely smug look. It almost made Mu Ruowei ascend to heaven in anger. I've completely understood now. Among the Mu family's 4 daughters, of all of them, Mu Ruowei is the least sharp. So stupid beyond all help. My attention returned to the TV screen, staring intently at the news channel, as if anxiously awaiting something. As expected, the local TV station reported on the mall incident. Around 11 a.m. today, a falling incident occurred at the Central Seasons Mall. It's reported that a young woman suffered severe injuries in an accident at the mall, and ultimately passed away. Police are still investigating the specific cause of the fall. She's really dead. I furrowed my brows, unconsciously recalling the person I met in the hallway, around the same age, looking extremely flustered and guilty. The key thing is, he carried the scent of death. Could that man have a connection to the deceased? Was the girl who fell an accidental misstep, or suicide, or was she murdered? I couldn't wait to investigate the scene immediately, to see if it was fate or a violent death. But I had only recently returned to the Mu family, and I was completely unfamiliar with the city. Going out alone would be next to impossible. Thinking this, I had to put that idea aside for now. After watching the news report, I slowly stood up, and walked over to Mu Xian on the other side. I said, seemingly trying to be helpful, "Mom, please stop scolding her." Actually, what she just said wasn't wrong. I hadn't even finished speaking, when Mu Ruowei, full of resentment, shouted, "You don't need to pretend to be kind here. This has really stirred up a hornet's nest." Pei Shuero, who was already furious, felt her anger flare up. "Xiaochen, you don't need to worry about this darn girl. She's got skin as thick as leather. She can break her courage and it'll be fine. The stewing in the kitchen to nourish you. Go quickly and see if it's ready." As soon as Pei Shuero spoke, I gave Mu Yue a sympathetic glance, and turned to head to the kitchen for food with a spring in my step. Mu Yue thought I was just showing off. The family members glare hatefully at my retreating back. As it turns out, Pei Shuero catches me red-handed. "Mu Yue, today I'm gonna beat the courage right out of him." I was still contemplating how to find the man I met in the hallway that day. I didn't expect the opportunity to present itself. The Mu family is holding a grand reunion banquet. Virtually every socialite in the upper echelons of Haishi has received an invitation from the Mu family. On the night of the banquet, the Mu family villa is buzzing with excitement. Guests are arriving in droves. Laughter and joy fill the air. You can see elegant socialites dressed to the nines everywhere, along with successful men in sharp suits. They're gathered in small groups, chatting. I've been staying in my room upstairs. Pei Shuero is too busy downstairs to come up. She'll come up to get me when it's time, so she can introduce me to everyone officially. I changed into my custom-made formal wear. Seeing that it was almost time, I left my room. As I passed Mu Xuan's room, my steps faltered for a moment. I tilted my ear slightly to listen. It's not like I deliberately eavesdropped. It's just that the people inside were having a lively discussion downstairs. Their voices were a little too loud. Besides, I'm no ordinary mortal. A quick listen was all it took to distinguish the voices. The woman speaking to Mu Xian is my nominal aunt by marriage, the eldest aunt. Because of this grand reunion banquet, the Mu family from the capital has all come, including the eldest uncle's family, who inherited the Mu family company and most of the assets. And that aloof old Mrs. Mu. But I feel like their sincerity is just SOSO. The banquet is clearly being held today, yet they only showed up yesterday, dragging their feet. Old Mrs. Mu stayed in the Mu family villa. The eldest branch directly went to a hotel. I rested my chin on one hand, contemplating. Mu Xian seems to have a good relationship with the eldest aunt's family. This eldest aunt, from beginning to end, only gave me a very cursory glance. So I just offered a few perfunctory pleasantries. Just as I was thinking, I heard footsteps from inside. I quickly retreated back to my room. After those two left the room and went downstairs, I reopened my door and walked out. Pei Shuero was also coming upstairs to find me. Seeing me all dressed up, she immediately smiled, her eyes filled with affection and tenderness. Xiao Chun, you look so handsome tonight. This statement was absolutely true. Pei Shuero felt it was probably due to his cultivation, and being less entangled with worldly affairs, that he had developed such a clean and transparent demeanor. The more she looked, the more she liked him. The more she looked, the more her heart fluttered. She secretly vowed in her heart that she would do her utmost to protect her son from now on, to let him always maintain his current state, to let him be carefree his entire life. It's about time. Mom will take you downstairs. After taking a couple of steps, I pretended to casually ask, shouldn't we call Mu Xian to come along? No need. This banquet tonight is for you. She's with her eldest aunt right now. It's fine. If we call her, she'll probably overthink it again. This child has been very sensitive lately. This left them unsure of what to do. The eldest aunt seems to dote on her very much. From what I've learned recently, the relationship between my cheap old man and my biological elder brother seems very ordinary. Otherwise, after they separated their families back then, they wouldn't have directly come to Heir to start from scratch. Although they would return to the capital for family reunions every year, that was purely out of consideration for old Mrs. Mu. So why does the eldest aunt favor Mu Xian so much? Pei Shuero didn't find it strange at all. She patiently explained, you know the situation of your father's family. He has an elder brother and an elder sister. Your uncle and aunt don't have a son. Your aunt did have a son, but perhaps he was ultimately an unfortunate child. I only had one precious son like you. So, as she spoke, Pei Shuero showed no guilt. The one who should have been enjoying all this pampering should have been her little Chin. She should have been the Mu family's treasured young master. But fate played its hand. Thinking of these past events, she felt a pang of sadness again. I slightly raised an eyebrow. So that's why. It's been over half a month since I returned to the Mu family. Tonight is my first official appearance, so to speak. Pei Shuero and Father Mu were by my side, one on each side. I slowly descended the stairs. Clearly a noble son, nurtured with countless efforts. A young master of a prominent family, meticulously cultivated. Seeing me bathed in the spotlight, Mu Xuan's heart skipped a beat. Her gaze was fixed on my figure. Her heart filled with unconcealable disappointment and deep jealousy. Mu Xuan, don't panic. She's just putting on an act right now. Who can't fake it? You are the young master raised by the Mu family. Never forget that. You've lived in the Mu family for over 10 years. So what if she's the biological one? Affection ultimately needs time to grow. Lu Manqi noticed Mu Xuan's emotional fluctuation. She soothed her by patting her arm and whispered words of comfort. Mu Xuan forced a bitter smile. Auntie, I'm fine. I'm actually quite happy for them. Mom and Dad found their biological son. This is a momentous occasion. I've enjoyed so much in the Mu family for so many years. In the end, I've wronged little Chin. Lu Manqi glared at her with annoyance and reprimanded her in a low voice. What does this have to do with you? Weren't you just a baby back then too? It was their fault as parents for not watching carefully. That's how the mix-up happened. You can't be blamed for anything. Alright, put your mind at ease and don't overthink it. I know your parents' character very well. They've raised you with such care for all these years. Even if your biological son has returned now, they will absolutely not stop doting on you. You need to set your mindset straight. Don't put yourself down. In short, remember this. You have committed no wrong. You've wronged no one. Do you understand? Mu Xian bit her lip and nodded slightly. She didn't say anything annoying again. Mom and Dad definitely wouldn't not dote on her. But it was absolutely impossible to compare with before. Before at home. Even within the entire Mu family. Whether it was in High City or the capital, she was the only golden grandchild of the Mu family. The whole family doted on her. They would always grant her every wish. Everyone's eyes and hearts were filled with her. But now, she clearly felt a huge drop. Ever since Mu Cheng returned, the eldest madam had no eyes for her. Their minds and eyes were only on Mu Cheng. Even her several older sisters were the same. Only the fourth sister still wholeheartedly protected her. Thinking of this, Mu Xian felt incredibly wronged. Everything that originally belonged to her now had to be shared in half. Who could stand this kind of disparity? While she was in a daze, Mu Fu and Pei Shuero had already very grandly introduced me to the guests. They didn't hide their importance and affection for me at all. Even the four Mu sisters stood by their parents' side. This scene was observed by everyone. Naturally, it carried entirely different meanings. Mu Xian, these Mu family members are too much. They were supposed to be a loving family. Why would they exclude you like this? Busy with socializing. The young masters from wealthy families who usually befriended Mu Xian gathered around her, all expressing their indignation. Don't talk nonsense. Tonight was supposed to be Xiao Chen's spotlight. This banquet was specifically held for him. He is the undisputed protagonist. What would be the point of me going up there? It wasn't that Mu father and Pei Shuero were deliberately excluding her. Before this, Pei Shuero had also suggested they wanted Mu Xian to go on stage with him later. But Mu Xian absolutely refused. She insisted that Mu Chun was the real young master. And this banquet was exclusively for Mu Chun. Then she truly shouldn't stand there. What she said was incredibly reasonable. Pei Shuero thought about it and felt that her standing to the side might not be a good thing for her, because it would inevitably lead to comparisons. It would only make her situation more awkward. So that matter was dropped. But even though she let it go, Mu Xian still felt wrong deep down. This time, although she said it like that, her heart was full of disappointment. This made her friends even more indignant on her behalf. Mu Xian, even though Mu Chun is the real young master, you've been in the Mu family for over 10 years. There's no reason for him to push you out just because he's back, right? It makes no difference to the Mu family to have one more son. Regarding who came first, he's the newcomer, the one who arrived later, right? How can this be explained by who came first? He is mom and dad's biological son. He suffered so much in that mountain Taoist temple. Yet I enjoyed all the wealth and luxury in the Mu family. It's normal for him to be upset. I can understand all of this. I absolutely won't hold it against him. Mu Xian put on a show of magnanimity. Her close friend by her side curled her lips in disdain. The contempt and scorn in her eyes were unconcealed. A young master who grew up in a mountain Taoist temple might not have even seen what a TV looks like. Hard to imagine someone so backward. You and this country bumpkin. Anyone with half a brain knows who they'd favor. You are, with the Mu family's money, a refined gentleman meticulously built and raised. How could that bumpkin ever compare? If Uncle Mu and Aunt Pei can't see clearly, they'll regret it sooner or later. Just wait for this bumpkin to embarrass the Mu family. Make the Mu family a laughingstock in high society. Mu Xian, you can't be too soft-hearted. The more you back down like this, the easier it is for people to bully you. What's yours is yours, you have to fight for it. Mu Xian nodded repeatedly. I understand. Don't worry. No one bullies me at home. Fourth sister is still as good to me as before. Words that seem to comfort but are actually meant to provoke. Only saying Mu Yue is the same to her as before. Isn't that indirectly saying the other three sisters are no longer as attentive to her as they used to be? Having a biological brother, do you no longer need an adopted one? Mu Xian knew when to stop. She didn't press further. She didn't actually intend to do anything malicious. It was just that seeing Mu Cheng hog the spotlight earlier, she suddenly worried he'd quickly integrate into the circle and steal all the attention that rightfully belonged to her. That's why she thought of putting some ideas in her friends' heads first. Word of mouth spreading like wildfire. Even if it couldn't truly stop anything, at least it would have some effect, right? As they were talking, several people saw the absolute main character of the night, which was me, walking towards them. Their expressions shifted slightly, but they quickly regained their composure. Self-consolation. I didn't hear what they just said. What's there to be afraid of? What's there to feel guilty about? Mu Xian was actually a bit guilty too, so she didn't notice one of her friends nearby turned deathly pale upon seeing me. Then she quickly lowered her gaze. Her hands unconsciously clasped together tightly. Then she subconsciously loosened them again, pretending to be naturally calm. You look so handsome tonight. Mu Xian smiled frail ly and complimented me. I gave a slight nod. Isn't it only natural that I'm handsome? Speaking of which, it's truly a peculiar fate. His own appearance bears a striking resemblance to mine. When I saw Mu Cheng's soul in Guangxi City, I was surprised myself. I didn't expect this new unlucky fellow to look somewhat like me. Later, after thinking carefully, I realized this must be destiny. I accepted the compliment with utmost composure. My gaze fell upon the man beside Mu Xian. This is Master Mu. After glancing at my friend, I introduced her. This is my good friend, Jiang Yan. She's the young mistress of the Jiang family. Mu Xian and Jiang Yan have known each other the longest. They became inseparable friends in elementary school, and they've stuck together all the way to now. So it's young Master Jiang. I deliberately dragged out the last syllable, my tone laced with a hint of knowing. Mu Xian gave the two of them a strange look, and asked with confusion, Xiaochen, do you know Jiang Yan? Before I could even speak loudly, Jiang Yan impatiently denied it. No, we don't know each other at all. But her reaction was so rushed, it made her seem extremely out of place and suspicious. The smile on my face became even more knowing. We don't know each other, that's true. We just bumped into each other in the mall hallway a few days ago. At that time, I deliberately lengthened my voice, but before I finished speaking, Jiang Yan hurriedly interrupted me. I just remembered I have something urgent to attend to. I'll take my leave now. I'll find you guys another day. Saying that, without waiting for Mu Xian's response, she turned and left. Her retreating figure looked like she was fleeing in panic. I had already intended to come over and test her, but I didn't expect Jiang Yan to be so guilty. Isn't that tantamount to telling me outright that there's absolutely something wrong? If there wasn't anything wrong, why would she be panicking here like this? Thinking this, I couldn't help but shift my gaze to Mu Xian. Mu Xian stiffened when I looked at her, and inexplicably felt a surge of nervousness and awkwardness. She stammered, what's wrong? Your friend. I spoke slowly, as if deliberately stringing Mu Xian along. Xiaochen, if Jiang Yan has ever offended you, please don't hold it against her. She definitely didn't mean to offend you. She's actually a pretty good person. I chuckled indifferently. It's nothing, since she's your good friend. Then we'll invite her over another day. Mu Xian obviously froze for a moment, opened her mouth wanting to say something, but I didn't give her a chance to speak at all. I think we'll set it for the day after tomorrow. You want to invite her to our house. I'll have the kitchen prepare in advance. Make some high-end desserts to entertain her. The elders will also frequently ask the day after tomorrow. My tone wasn't asking her for her opinion, but rather issuing a cold, firm notice. After I spoke, I turned and walked away, giving Mu Xian no chance to refuse at all. Leaving Mu Xian and her friend looking at each other, their minds full of question marks. There's a reason I'm targeting Jiang Yan, besides smelling the scent of death on her that day. Later, there was also a related report in the news, saying the girl who fell from the building at the mall that day died from an accidental fall. If it were truly an accidental fall, it would be nothing. But the problem is, I genuinely felt resentment. That was the resentment from that girl who fell. Although I am currently in the mortal world. But the King City has gained new members. Naturally, I would still sense it. When Yimo was caught up in a dispute, and tragically fell to her death accidentally. But the truth was covered up by them. How many people die normally every day in this world? And how many die unnaturally? Not every person who dies with regret can be sensed by me. This also requires a certain destiny to be triggered. I think it was probably because that day at the mall, I happened to be at the scene of the crime, and had close contact with the deceased, so I keenly sensed her resentment. King City. That is, the place where those who die unexpectedly remain. People who die normally go through the normal process. Some are sent to King City, until their original lifespan ends. If they were innocently implicated, they must await the truth to be revealed, and their resentment to dissipate before they can continue their reincarnation. And now King City is overcrowded. The souls waiting for reincarnation cannot leave for a long time, so they are stranded, day after day, year after year. People still flock to Wangxi City, but fewer and fewer leave. If this continues, Wangxi City will cease to exist, and the countless souls will vanish with it. The reason for this is that the netherworld gates have closed, and cannot be reopened, so the ghosts cannot leave. My sister and I pondered this for a long time, trying many solutions but none worked. Later, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva gave us a hint, and my sister and I suddenly understood. That's why I came to the mortal realm. My purpose here is to gather merit and faith, to restart the netherworld gates, and restore Wangxi City's operation. Now the opportunity has presented itself. I can't just turn it away, can I? Mu Xian couldn't figure out, no matter how hard she thought, what I truly wanted. After the banquet, he discussed this matter with Pei Shuero. He initially thought, given how Pei Shuero currently cared for me, she might refuse. To his surprise, she happily agreed. He couldn't do anything about Pei Shuero. Stepping outside, he encountered Mu Yue. A flash crossed his eyes. He greeted him as usual, then seemed to hesitate about to speak. Anyone with eyes could see he had something to say. let alone Mu Yue who cared about him. Mu Yue had intended to avoid him. He just felt a little guilty. Tonight he felt Xiao Xian had been wronged. But there was nothing he could do. Xiao Xian had grown up with him. They had doted on her for over a decade. But Xiao Cheng was also his own brother. His palms and arms are his flesh. If he were to let Xiao Cheng suffer for Xiao Xian's sake, so she wouldn't be wronged, that would definitely not be acceptable. If he dared to do that, their parents would kick him out. So, for the moment he didn't know how to face him. I thought it would be better to avoid Xiao Xian. But seeing his troubled expression, and how he seemed to want to say something but was afraid, I still felt concerned. Xiao Xian, is there something you want to tell your fourth sister? Mu Yu bit her lip and hesitated. Fourth sister, Xiao Chenghe. I don't know if Jiang Yan offended Xiao Cheng, which made him unhappy. If that's the case, then I'm willing to apologize on Jiang Yan's behalf. But Xiao Chenghe, he asked me to invite Jiang Yan over to the house. Fourth sister, do you think Xiao Cheng is trying to cause trouble? Mu Yue frowned tightly. Clearly also found my actions strange. After thinking about it, he said, it's fine. I'm free anyway. Xiao Cheng is also my brother. Jiang Yan is my good friend. I don't want the two of them to have any conflict. Mu Yue scratched his head. Xiao Xian, you know the situation at home right now. If he wants to invite your friend over as a guest, Mom and Dad will definitely agree. Not only will they agree, they'll be very happy. So there's no reason to refuse at all. If he were to suggest not doing it, he'd definitely get laughed at by his mother again. Seeing that Mu Yue wasn't disappointed at all, Mu Yue patted his chest and promised, don't worry, I'll keep an eye on her then. I absolutely won't let her bully Jiang Yan. Since it's come to this, Mu Yue had no other choice. There was another reason she wanted to stop him, which was a vague sense of unease. She trusted her intuition a lot, but she couldn't stop it, so she could only think of other ways. All in all, tonight's banquet was quite successful. Although old Mrs. Mu's performance, it wasn't that enthusiastic or happy, but they weren't so foolish as to do something they shouldn't at an event like this. The night passed without incident. The guests enjoyed themselves. Since returning to the Mu family, I've always had freedom. In every aspect it's been like that. Pei Shuero and Father Mu never told me I had to do things a certain way. They just told me when I got home to do whatever felt comfortable. I slept until I woke up naturally every day, since there was nothing to do even if I woke up early. Plus, I stayed up late online every day to get familiar with and understand this world. It's understandable that I slept late. No one in the Mu family would say anything to me, but I forgot that a few more people had been added now, and they seemed to not like me. The moment I went downstairs that morning, I was criticized. The elders are all up, and you slept until now. Old Mrs. Mu saw me coming downstairs. Her eyes darted, and she gave me a sidelong glance. She said with clear displeasure, look at our little Xian. She got up early to help prepare breakfast. This is something you should learn from Xiao Xian. At least show some filial piety to your elders. Pei Shuero was unhappy when she heard this. Mom, there's nothing at home that needs help. The children can sleep as long as they want. Besides, it's not that late. Xiao Si hasn't even gotten up yet. Moreover, filial piety isn't judged by how early you get up. Pei Shuero defended her son the next second. But she didn't realize that her defense would hurt Mu Xian's feelings. It sounded like she was saying he deliberately got up early to make breakfast and curry favor with everyone. I remained unfazed and sat down to eat as usual. I watched Mu Xian say with a look of realization, it's been quite some time since I returned, and I don't think I've ever had breakfast you prepared. Was it prepared in small quantities? So everyone ate it and there was none left for me. I see you always get up later than me every day. So you were getting up to make breakfast, and then going back to sleep. Mu Xian blushed with shame. After I came back, he was uncomfortable. So he stayed away from me as much as possible. So he always woke up late. Plus, it was a holiday. All day except for the 3 meals downstairs. He basically stayed in his room the rest of the time. As for breakfast, the family has servants. He's a young master of the Mu family. How could he cook often? Seeing Grandma so quickly. Then the breakfast you make must be delicious. I want to try it tomorrow, I said with a smile. I didn't snatch the ball for Mu Xian to make breakfast, but the meaning was self-evident. Old Mrs. Mu was even more unhappy. There are servants at home. Why do you like Xiao Xian to do it? I looked at her in confusion. This isn't liking. She kept calling me her brother. As a brother, what's wrong with making breakfast for your younger brother? My expression was very serious. This cooking skill was trained. Without practice, where would good cooking skills come from? Making breakfast for Grandma. If the cooking isn't good, what if something goes wrong? Grandma is so old. Her body can't handle the tossing and turning. Saying that, I sighed again, appearing selfless. It's different for me. I'm young, and I suffered so much before. I'm used to it. It's just right for her to practice her skills. Be a guinea pig. This time, even the filter of accompanying Shuero was broken. How could Xiao Cheng say such shameless words without batting an eye? Mu Xian was almost squeezed to tears by me. Lu Manqi frowned tightly. She looked at me with disapproval. I know you're upset. Thinking that Xiao Xian has enjoyed blessings for so many years. I know you're upset. Took what was yours. But Mu Xian was just a baby back then. Didn't know anything. She's as innocent as you are. Why do you have to target her? Mu Xian is gentle. She said she considers you a brother. Then she definitely considers you a brother. Wouldn't it be nice to have an extra older brother dote on you? Why bother? She shook her head, her face full of disappointment. Pei Shuero felt so angry inside. She suppressed it and didn't lash out, but her expression was clearly displeased. Eldest sister-in-law, you've misunderstood. Xiao Cheng isn't targeting anyone. She's just too straightforward. She speaks without thinking. She doesn't have malicious intent in her heart. That's right. How could I have any malicious intent? I'm not targeting her either. My attitude towards her is better than towards fourth sister. If you don't believe me, ask her. I just know she's also innocent. That's why I didn't let mom and dad kick her out. Let her continue to stay in the Mu family as the young master. Isn't that enough? I'm so touched by my own kindness that I could cry. I've never seen anyone as forgiving as me. My expression was innocent and pure. I've gone this far. Eldest aunt still thinks I'm bullying her. Do you want me to give her my identity too? And give her my real parents too? I intentionally emphasized the words, real parents. Lu Manqi was squeezed tightly. What else could she say? Perhaps my expression was too genuine. So much so that Lu Manqi couldn't tell whether I said this intentionally or unintentionally. Old Mrs. Mu was also cornered. She reflexively wanted to use her elder status to suppress me, but I didn't give her a chance to speak. You're also worried I'll bully Mu Xian. Mom and Dad said everyone dotes on her very much. How about this? From now on, let her live with Grandma. She's not a child anymore anyway. She doesn't need constant care. Living with Grandma will allow her to be more filial. She'll make Grandma breakfast every day. I pretended to be cute and shook my head. This way, she can be filial to Grandma, and won't have to worry about being bullied by me. It's a win-win. The whole dinner table fell silent. Old Mrs. Mu and Lu Manqi glared at me. Pei Shuero didn't know what expression to put on. As for Mu Xian, she was naturally scared. Xiaochen, please stop talking. Grandma and eldest aunt didn't mean it that way. They were just too worried about me. But I haven't suffered any mistreatment. Mom, Dad, and sisters treat me just as well. Of course, you haven't bullied me either. Don't take Grandma and eldest aunt's words to heart. If she moves to live with Grandma, then what is she? Won't her status be even more awkward? She is the son of the Mu family, and always will be. She looked pleadingly at the two elders. They genuinely doted on her, and agreed with her, swallowing their pride. The atmosphere at the dinner table finally normalized, though everyone was somewhat distracted and lost their appetite. Of course, that person didn't include me. I ate heartily. I even ate an extra bowl more than usual. Thick millet porridge, paired with side dishes, was truly refreshing and appetizing. Seeing me like this, those two elders only felt a fire burning in their hearts. The third day, after the eldest branch and old Mrs. Mu left, I urged Mu Xian to invite Jiang Yan over. Jiang Yan wanted to refuse, but thinking of who was in the corridor, he made up his mind. He came to the Mu family as agreed. Pei Shuero was very enthusiastic, asking Mu Xian to accompany him. As for me, I arrived fashionably late. As soon as they saw me, feeling guilty, Jiang Yan immediately tensed up. He was already thinking about how to avoid the Mu family. Let's have a good talk, okay? But I didn't play by the rules. I glanced up at Mu Yue and Mu Xian. You two excuse yourselves. I have something to discuss with Mr. Jiang here. Mu Xian's expression changed. Jiang Yan was his good friend, and now he was being asked to excuse himself from his friend. Mu Chen, what are you trying to do? If Jiang Yan has offended you in any way, just say it clearly. You can't just invite someone over and then bully them. I disdainfully glanced at Mu Yue. If you have nothing better to do, use your brain more. This thing isn't just for decoration, and it's not to make you look taller. The four sisters of the Mu family, the other three seem pretty smart. They have good judgment too. How could this one be so dull? Mu Yue was furious. He stood there with his mouth agape, wanting to say something, but I raised my voice and shouted, Mom! Mu Yue, an unnecessary distraction, reflexively shut his mouth tight. Hearing the shout, Pei Shuero quickly came out. Xiaochen, what's wrong? Mom, I want to take Mu Xian's friend to the garden. Is that okay? Pei Shuero wasn't surprised at all. Instead, she smiled and said, Go ahead. The sun is quite strong right now. Don't get sunburned. Mu Xian quickly chimed in. I'll go too. He really wasn't at ease. He felt I had ulterior motives for inviting Jiang Yan over. I don't give anyone face. I directly refused. No need. We'll be back soon. You should stay and keep him company. I glanced at Mu Yue. With a sneer. He's been specifically kept at home to accompany you. To prevent anyone from bullying you. With that said, I turned and walked away. Without worrying if Jiang Yan would follow. Mu Yue looked embarrassed. But inwardly felt this brother was quite cunning. Look at what he just said. Isn't it just offering Mom a drink? Implying he suspects I'd bully Xiaoxian. Which is why he's staying home. The schemer. What do you want with me? Jiang Yan looked at me warily. After asking before I could speak, he quickly added. I don't know what you're trying to do. I didn't offend you in the hallway that day. Is it because I glared at you? Cut him off. What's your relationship with the person who fell? Did you have contact before the incident? Or rather, I slowly turned around, tilted my head. My clean eyes seemed to see through everything. Actually, the incident has something to do with you. I didn't. Jiang Yan's expression changed drastically, denying it forcefully, but an undeniable trace of fear and panic leaked from the depths of his eyes. You know better than anyone if it's nonsense. It was a cover-up accident. He lost his life getting involved. What if I were to report it? Jiang Yan's words had already revealed crucial information. I spread my hands. What evidence do I need? I'm just saying it. Someone will naturally find the evidence. I wonder if such a thing were to get out about Mr. Jiang. Would your reputation be affected? Are you threatening me? Don't think I'm afraid of you just because you're the young master. Compared to Xiaoxian. What are you? Do you think you can replace Xiaoxian? You're dreaming. Xiaoxian has been living in the Mu family for over 10 years. You can't compare to me when it comes to family ties. I looked at him strangely. Why would I compete with Mu Xian? He's an adopted son. I'm the biological son. A biological son replacing an adopted son? I'm not crazy. Also, let me correct you. I wasn't threatening you, but reminding you. If you don't want others to know, don't do it. That was a living human life. You thought it was settled. Everything's fine? I said with deep meaning and turned to leave. I wanted to ask clearly just to save time. Even if I don't say it, when that girl's resentment is enough, my identity will make her come looking for me. Jiang Yenya and Mei put the flower in their heart. Mu Xian wanted to ask what exactly I said. That made Jiang Yan leave in a huff? Did I really bully someone? But my expression. She felt that if she asked about the flower, I would have to find a hole to crawl into in front of her. I thought it was natural. I learned a lot watching TV every day. Everything in this society is fast. Once something gets online, it's more useful than any advertising. I think this is indeed the fastest way. Perhaps because I encountered it in the business world. Pei Shui sighed while watching the news. Originally, I thought it was a simple accident. I didn't expect it would turn into this. If it's as her parents said, then it's truly too cruel. That girl who fell from the building was only 25. So young. Heard she was an only child. Gone just like that. No wonder her parents can't accept it. Insisting on making a big deal out of it. If it were their son who disappeared under suspicious circumstances, they'd go crazy too. Thinking that Pei Su-ro, she quickly consoled herself internally. That she found little Chun. There's still a long way to go. The mother and son still have plenty of time to spend together. The deceased's parents revealed to the media. The daughter's personality was gentle and quiet. She didn't have many friends and her social life was average. She didn't usually have many expensive habits. Unlike her peers who loved to shop, she rarely bought personal items. The money she earned from work was all given to them. She kept some for household expenses and her own spending. She usually commuted straight home from work. The one who fell was from a high-end shopping mall. A place she couldn't afford to shop at all. She was a little unusual before leaving that day. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I never expected this outcome. At first, I thought it was an accident. Packing up her belongings revealed a secret. The daughter had experienced unfair treatment. So I suspected her death was not an accident. They wanted the truth, so. Mu Xian's eyes flickered uncertainly. She dared not look directly at her parents on TV. Her hands, placed on her knees, were clenched tightly, protecting. Her face was unnaturally pale. I noticed his expression change when he saw the news. His demeanor was very strange. Thinking of his relationship with Jiang Yan, my heart stirred, and I blurted out, "What are you rushing around for? Do you know the deceased? Or did you do something you shouldn't have?" Mu Xian seemed startled. She suddenly looked up, glaring at me. Her voice was sharp as she retorted, "Xiaochen, what nonsense are you spouting? Even if you're unhappy with me, you can't just say things like that." Pei Su-ro was stunned at first. Then she was startled by the sharp voice. "Xiaoxian, do you know this poor girl? Could she be from a classmate's family? That's not impossible." Xiao Xian attends a private high school. The tuition is expensive. The school accepts outstanding students each year. For families of this type, they might not afford tuition but have excellent grades. Perhaps she's a relative of one of your classmates. Mu Xian's expression changed slightly again. If you have nothing to hide, why can't you just say it? You and that Mr. Jiang are both really strange. Every time this is brought up, you dodge and act guilty. It's practically written all over your face that you're involved. You saw the news, didn't you? This has already blown up. If they investigate, it'll be easy to figure out. It'd be better to just come clean now. Let's think of a solution. Pei Shuero hadn't believed it at first. Looking at Yangzi's expression, her heart suddenly tightened. Xiao Xian. Mom, I really didn't do it. Mu Xian got anxious. Does Mom not know who I am? Little Cheng knows. Does Mom not know either? I'm your son, raised for over a decade. Seeing him put on that wronged look again, I felt like rolling my eyes. Stop pretending. It's like trying to hide something obvious. Even if you didn't do it, you're definitely involved. I want to see how long they can last. I got up and went upstairs. Mu Xian's face turned red, then green. He was so angry he started crying. Mom, you saw it too, right? Ever since Cheng came back, I've been yielding everywhere. I know I don't have the right to compete with him, and I shouldn't be competing with him. I want to get along with him too, and be filial to you and Dad. But he finds fault with everything I do. Whatever I do, he has to criticize me. Jiang Yan left in a huff today. I don't even know what he did. Mom, you tell me, what should I do? Otherwise I'll just move out. Even though I'm not an adult yet, I think I can support myself. You've raised me for so many years. Your kindness to me is immense. I can't ask for anything more. He finally released all the fear, worry, grievances, and dissatisfaction in his heart. He sobbed, his face a mess of heartbroken tears. Pei Shuero watched, her heart aching immensely. The palms of her hands, her arms, they were all her flesh and blood. Little Cheng was her biological son, so of course she doted on him. But little Xuan had been raised by her side for over 10 years. Though not biologically hers, she treated her like her own. He wasn't so foolish as to expect the two of them to truly love each other. As long as they could get along without incident, that would be enough. Besides, little Cheng had said he didn't mind little Xuan staying. But little Cheng's silver tongue was indeed something else. If only they could have waited a little longer. At home, the family could be more accommodating. But what about out in the world? As she pondered, her thoughts began to stray. Mu Xuan cried out, but received no comfort. Her sobs subsiding slightly, she looked up. Her anger flared, and she felt even more wronged. Mom was actually spacing out at a time like this. Now she was truly heartbroken. The moment I returned to my room, I sensed something. With a wave of my hand, a series of faint sounds shot out. Come out. After a good while, a faint voice drifted out, barely audible. As my gaze swept over, the voice immediately retreated into a corner. You're a ghost and still this timid? No wonder you were bullied by those playmates. I deeply suspect that someone so timid wouldn't be much better even as a ghost. What can he do? Can he really trigger a fateful encounter? I harbor deep doubts. How did you find this place? If you don't speak, I'll throw you out. The voice, startled, quickly replied. I am Wenma. A few days ago, I had an accident at the mall. At this point, her voice grew dejected. Took me several days to accept this reality. It was unbelievable, yet I had no choice but to accept it. When I fell that day, I already guessed I wouldn't survive. Even if I lived, I'd probably be severely injured. My family couldn't afford the medical bills. In that case, it would have been better to just leave. For a moment, I didn't know whether to be relieved or sniffle. So, what do you want to do? Revenge? When Inma was stunned for a moment. Revenge. Can I still get revenge? If you don't want revenge, why are you looking for me? If you didn't want revenge, you wouldn't be lingering in the mortal world. I can't let go of my parents. Your parents believe you and they've seen it. You're their only daughter. Now just like that, she's gone. They won't let this go. It's like they're ready for a fight to the death. When Inma was silent for a long time before murmuring, they're no match for those people. His voice was still trembling. I think I understand a little. It's not that he doesn't hate or want revenge, but that he's been bullied for too long. The impact seared onto his soul. Even as a ghost, he's afraid of that person. This indirectly shows he deeply experienced the oppression brought by power. Can you help me? I know you're different. You can definitely help me, right? He suddenly looked up, pleading at me. I don't know who this man is or what he is. Why can he see me? Not only can he see me, but he's not panicking at all. Then he must be special. I feel like something is pulling us together. So he can definitely help, right? I smiled slightly. How do you want me to help you? This question stumped him. Yeah, how should I help? I don't even have a plan. How can I ask someone else? Doesn't he hate it himself? Of course he hates it. He didn't accidentally fall to his death. It was a dispute that was covered up. When the accident happened, besides shock and despair, there was also deep resentment. Why was he treated like this? He couldn't stand seeing those jerks bullying someone. He stepped forward to stop the evil deed. Why did he end up with such a tragic death? He worked at a milk tea shop. A few jerks always came to drink there. Later, they caused a scene in the shop. I tried to stop them, but I was cursed and threatened. Furious, I deliberately said I'd record it and broadcast it online right here. Only then did they get scared and stop bullying me. I thought it was just a minor life incident. I never imagined I'd provoked a demon. From then on, I started being retaliated against. They deliberately isolated and ostracized me at school. They teamed up with others to spread rumors and slander me, making me feel ashamed. When I wanted to quit, they threatened my boss. Finding out about this shocked my parents. They filled the living room with trash. They constantly and deliberately destroyed my study materials. I thought if I just endured it, they'd eventually get tired of it. I never expected it to ultimately cost me my life. Afterward, all I got was an accidental fall from a building. The truth was covered up, and nothing came of it. Recalling this, my resentment surged. The air in the room fluctuated. The curtains moved, and the tassels on the lampshade swayed, rustling. I want them to experience this taste. I want them to get the retribution they deserve. I rested my chin on my hand. The retribution they deserve. Should I send them to jail? That wouldn't be difficult. When Yimo's inner resentment was ignited, he shed his timidity and became cold and sinister. His face contorted slightly. Jail. My family wouldn't let them go to jail. Even if they did, it wouldn't be for long. My life for a few years in prison? Is my life that cheap? He was unconvinced. How about an eye for an eye, a life for a life? I said it so casually, as if it were the simplest thing in the world. When Yimo paused for a moment, his boiling resentment faltered. If it could be like that, it would be best, of course. But can you do it? He asked cautiously. If it could be like that, it would be best, of course. Why is he gone? And others can live as if nothing happened? Did he die for nothing? Legal justice might not be able to compensate for anything. I smiled faintly. Of course I can. Surprise flashed in Plague's eyes. Can you really help me get revenge? Will you be able to leave peacefully if I help you get revenge? He nodded, then paused. His face was full of loneliness and sadness. I can let go of my resentment, but I can't let go of my parents. They only have me as their child. I thought for a moment and said, your parents aren't that old. Perhaps they can have another child. I never expected to hear such words. Thinking of her parents' age, there was indeed a possibility of having another child. If that were the case, she would be at ease. Then when will you help me get revenge? What price do I need to pay? My eyes flickered. Then I smiled deeply and said, you don't need to worry. I won't help you for free, but I won't make it unbearable for you. Let's talk about revenge after this is over. I am not an ordinary person, so what I want is naturally not ordinary. Plague nodded without hesitation. Then you'll have to wait. This requires the right timing. He nodded, a hint of tension in his voice as he asked, can you protect my parents for me? I'm from the underworld, not a celestial being from heaven. I deal with the dead, not the living. Seeing my silence, his eyes reddened. If you can't, then forget it. Seeing his pitiable state, I said, don't worry, your parents should be fine. This situation has escalated significantly, and any incident now would be irreversible. Mom, I'm going out for a bit, I said to Peishuero. Peishuero paused. Go out. Where are you going? I'll have the driver take you. No need. I'll take a cab myself. Having the driver follow will just complicate things. But Little Chun hasn't gone out alone since he returned. He's not familiar with the city either. If he goes out by himself, how will you manage on your trip? I could see her worry. Mom, it's okay. I know the way. Besides, I can just give them the address directly in the cab. I'm not scared. That won't do. There are a lot of bad people out there these days. How about this? I'll have your fourth sister accompany you. Whatever business you need to take care of, go ahead. Your fourth sister can run errands for you. Quickly, go wake up Mu Wanting, who's still in bed. Mu Wanting's temper flared when she heard her mother's words. Mom, I'm his sister, not his personal assistant. If you don't trust him, then just have the driver follow. Why do I have to go out with him? I refuse. She stomped her feet and glared at me. I glanced at her dismissively. My expression was full of disdain. You think I want to follow you around? It's Mom's worry. She insisted you go with him. Mom, look at her. Mu Wanting stood up and pointed at me. Peishuero slapped her hand down. Whether you like it or not, you're going. You yourself said you're Little Chen's sister. Accompany your brother out for some errands. You have so many objections. What do you think you're doing? Peishuero's face darkened. She stared at her sternly. Mu Wanting was scared by that gaze and her legs trembled. Her gaze immediately dropped. That's settled then. Hurry up and eat breakfast. Little Chun is leaving. She tearfully withdrew her hand, feigning grievance. Where exactly are you going? In the car. Mu Yue asked, his face grim. There's a free driver, why not use him? Free is free, why not use him? I instructed, feeling perfectly justified. Drive forward. I'll give you directions. She was totally treated like a chauffeur. Mu Yue was furious, but utterly helpless. She drove around following my directions, the places getting stranger and stranger, the roads narrower and narrower. She's quite something herself. Having lived in Heir for so many years, I never knew such places existed here. Mu Yue obediently parked the car, stopping outside a dilapidated apartment complex. Sitting in the driver's seat and looking outside, a deep anger surged within him. All right, you can wait for me here. I got out of the car, slamming the door shut, leaving only those words and walking away, giving Mu Yue no chance to ask any questions. She originally wanted to ask me what I was doing, but my attitude was so infuriating. In her anger, she decided to just ignore it. I entered the complex smoothly, my steps unhesitating, heading straight for one of the buildings. The old complex had poor landscaping, the exterior walls were mottled and uneven, and there wasn't even an elevator. The stairwell also showed signs of decay. I walked all the way up, reaching the 4th floor, then turned left. After reaching the 4th floor, I faintly heard crying. I guessed correctly, it was coming from the one family's residence. Standing at the one family's door, I raised my hand and knocked. I need to find my subordinates as soon as possible. I, the esteemed young master of Wangxi City. How could I end up coming out personally? This doesn't befit my status as young master. The sounds from inside paused, then footsteps could be heard. Soon, a question came from behind the door. Who is it? I'm Wen Yimo's friend. There was silence inside the house for a while. Then a crack opened in the door. Someone peered at me through the gap. Seeing I was young, they seemed a bit more at ease. Are you Xiao Mo's colleague? I nodded. The person inside then opened the door and let me in. After entering, I didn't waste any words. I know when Yimo was murdered. When Yimo's parents weren't old, but they aged rapidly after their daughter's incident. They used to have jet black hair, but now it was streaked with silver. The wrinkles on their faces had deepened significantly. Their eyes were full of sorrow and pain, and suppressed hatred. How do you know? How do you know Xiao Mo was murdered? Do you know something? Hurry up and tell us. Wen's mother, who had been listless, became agitated upon hearing my words, grabbing my hand. I can see Wen Yimo. I can also help you. Wen's father and mother were stunned. They didn't understand what I meant. Their daughter was already dead. What did she mean by saying she could see her daughter? Although they refused to cremate the body. To find the truth. I can help you fulfill your wish, I said. Wen's mother's crying paused. She looked at me through her tears, her expression somewhat dazed. Their wish, of course, was to bring the killer who murdered their daughter to justice, to make the culprit receive the punishment they deserved. No, that's not enough. If they just get a few years in prison, that's far from enough. How can a few years in prison be equivalent to our Xiao Mo's life? Whoever killed Xiao Mo should pay a terrible price. Mother Wen's eyes seethed with intense hatred. Whatever you want, I can help you achieve it, but you'll need to pay a small price. I'm being very clear. Besides merit, I also need to collect experiences of human awareness, true sincerity, absolute goodness, utmost benevolence, and unwavering righteousness. The gate of rebirth is the gate to the heart's rebirth. Shang, life, signifies beginning, meaning hope and joy. Si, death, signifies ending, meaning despair and sorrow. And life and death are a cycle. Between these cycles lie many things: selfishness and greed, hypocrisy and malice. I need to collect these 7 emotions and resentments, keeping the resentment within a balanced range. After hearing my words, Mother Wen didn't hesitate. No matter what you want, as long as you can truly help us, I'm willing to give you anything, even if you want my life. I smiled. It's not that serious. What I learned from Winnie Mo, I told them both everything, without any concealment. Hearing this, the couple wept bitterly again. Seeing this, I could only sigh slightly. Separation by life and death is indeed the most difficult thing for people to accept in this world. Mother Wen, crying, suddenly knelt on the ground. She then slammed her head down once. I want them to pay the price. I want them to live their lives in regret. Overwhelmed by extreme resentment, Mother Wen and Father Wen were also filled with guilt and regret. Why didn't they notice their daughter sooner? If only they had known about their daughter's struggles earlier, they would have helped her quit her job. They could have taken her and moved somewhere else. Father Wen tried his best to control himself, but tears streamed down his face. He covered his face tightly with one hand, unable to hide the grief and regret on his face. Me too. I want them to pay the price they deserve. My name is Wenmu. Wenmu is waiting for my news. Then she walked out of the building. Saw Mu Yue sleeping through the car window. His mouth was still open. You can tell how soundly he was sleeping. A twitch tugged at the corner of my mouth. And this is supposed to be my sister? I'd be embarrassed to be her sister. I originally intended to knock on the window to wake her up, but I paused midway. I was already worried about how to get rid of Mu Yue. It's not convenient to always have her with me, since she's asleep. Then let her keep sleeping. But this doesn't align with their inner thoughts. So now we still need to reveal the truth first, remembering what happened to Wenmu. Then I also couldn't help but sigh. If this matter doesn't have a good outcome, who would dare to do good deeds in the future? Truly, the times are worsening. This society's development. But human nature hasn't improved along with the economy. Instead, it's become even more selfish. Perhaps it's a society where materialism runs rampant. It has brought out the ugliness in human nature. I remembered my past. When I was this age, like these children, I was already a capable and upright man. I could have started a family and a career. I could have held up the family's reputation. Her expression froze slightly. A hint of confusion flashed across her face. Things from the past. How long has it been since I thought about them? It's been too long. I've already forgotten. I wasn't a young master from the start either. I vaguely remember before becoming the young master. I was also an ordinary person who succeeded in everything. It was after death that I entered Wangxi City. Too much time has passed. I've already forgotten how I back then became the young master of this Wangxi City. My thoughts flashed by. My figure gradually disappeared. The pedestrians coming and going on the street had impassive expressions. Everyone was in a hurry. No one noticed the young boy beside them. Suddenly vanished into thin air. I thought I'd be back by evening. But I didn't expect. It dragged on so late. Once I got busy, I even forgot about Mu Yue. But as soon as I was done, I went straight back. The moment I walked in, I sensed something was off in the living room. It was perfect for Lung. Before I could speak, Pei Shuero hugged me. Her voice was full of worry. You're finally back. You scared Mom to death. Mom thought something had happened to you. Mu Fu also looked anxious. He clearly breathed a sigh of relief when he saw me. He repeatedly said, "It's good you're back. It's good you're back." It really scared her to death. She thought the son had run away on his own. I blinked. Suddenly, I thought of something. Just as I was about to explain, Mu Yue, who had been scolded all evening. Angrily, he roared at me. "Mu-chun, are you sick? If you're going somewhere, can't you just say so? Do you know we thought something had happened to you? Do you know we looked for you all day?" I flinched at his roar. I did feel a bit guilty. "You shut up." Pei Shuero pulled me closer and glared fiercely at Mu Yue. "It must be because Little Chun is unhappy. That's why he left without a word. You always target Little Chun. How many times have I told you? Little Chun is your own brother. Your own brother." Mu Yue was so angry at his mother's unreasonable words, he felt like he was about to ascend to heaven. "Mom, can you be reasonable? I didn't do anything today." Mu Yue shouted. Seeing that the two were about to argue, I quickly intervened. "Mom, don't be angry. Let me explain. It's really not fourth sister's fault today. I'll explain. She really hasn't done anything. She's never even argued with me. Then why did you just let her leave by herself? You haven't been here that long. You're not familiar enough with this city. It's easy to get lost without someone following you. The main thing is that Xiaoqin doesn't really know how to use a phone. She got lost. She doesn't even know how to use GPS. I'll answer honestly. I went to run an errand. I asked fourth sister to wait for me in the car. When I got back from my errand, I saw she was asleep, so I figured she might have woken up too early. She didn't get enough sleep, so I thought I'd let her sleep a bit longer. You might as well not have said anything with that explanation. Was she doing it on purpose? I didn't pay any attention to her teary eyes or expression. Continue to speak honestly. Then I left. I thought I'd be back quickly after finishing my business. Maybe she wouldn't even be awake when I got back. I didn't expect it to take longer than planned. It dragged on until now. It's not that I really wanted Mu Yue to get scolded. I also didn't expect things to turn out this way. Then why didn't you answer your phone at all? Mu Yue continued to question. I reached into my cloth bag and rummaged around. I pulled out a mobile phone. I looked around, with a puzzled look on my face. I didn't hear the phone ring. This phone was prepared for me by Pei Shuero. I was so amused I almost laughed. She pushed the phone towards me. Don't you know how to look at it? Your phone is set to silent. I glanced at the phone and blinked innocently. I really don't know how to look at it. I've never used a phone before. How could I know a phone could be set to silent? Mu Yue wanted to continue her attack. Pei Shuero tapped her hard with her knuckles. It hurt so much she covered her forehead and cried out in pain. If you hadn't fallen asleep in the car, she would have considerately not wanted to wake you and gone to run errands by herself. So in the end, it's all your fault. You were supposed to help. And you, on the other hand, slept so soundly in the car. Your allowance for this month will be deducted. Pei Shuero announced directly. What? Pei Shuero looked at the other children again. and warned them, anyone who dares to secretly support her will have their allowance deducted next month. As for Mu Wanting, she disliked going against her eldest daughter. If you dare to give Mu Yue money, I'll arrange a blind date for you immediately. Mu Wanting's expression changed. She quickly replied formally, Mom, don't worry. I won't. I'll even supervise the others to stop them from giving money to our fourth sister. Eldest sister Mu Yue sighed mournfully. Mu Wanting looked at her with helplessness and pity. Fourth sister, don't blame your eldest sister for being heartless. If you die, at least it's over. Fourth sister, where did you and Xiao Chun go today? Downstairs, Mu Wan didn't dare to confront Pei Shuero. After they returned to their rooms, she secretly slipped out again to find Mu Yue. After comforting her, she mustered up her courage and asked. Mentioning me, Mu Yue was furious. This younger brother is clearly here to anger her, here to collect debts. However, facing Mu Wan, she still patiently explained a little. But where I went afterwards, what I did, she didn't know. Mu Wan frowned upon hearing this, let alone Mu Yue. She also didn't know what kind of place that was. People like them usually frequented high-class establishments. They certainly wouldn't go to such a shabby place, nor would they bother to understand it. She preferred to ponder it over. She couldn't let go of this matter. Just then, Jiang Yan called. After chatting for a bit, she remembered her friend coming over. She couldn't help but badmouth her friend a few times. Unexpectedly, Jiang Yan gasped when she heard. Did she go to Aunt Wen's house? The name Aunt Wen hit her. Mu Xian couldn't help but sway. Her hand holding the phone tightened. What was she doing at Aunt Wen's house? She didn't know Aunt Wen. Jiang Yan gritted her teeth. She had no choice but to recount that day's encounter. Mu Xian gasped when she heard. Her limbs felt a little weak. She hadn't expected Jiang Yan to be present that day. Yan, did you? Mu Xian's throat felt a little dry. After asking, her heart was in her mouth. Her mind began to race. If she was truly involved in this, what should she do? She wasn't present that day, but now those bullying incidents had been brought up by her parents. If they investigated thoroughly, but soon she calmed down again, constantly comforting herself in her heart. She hadn't bullied when Inemo. At most, it was. Mu Xian quickly recalled what she had done. Were there any obvious loopholes left, or any handles to be caught? Xian, are you listening to me? Jiang Yan had been talking for a while without a response, calling out strangely. Mu Xian snapped back to reality, calmed her emotions and said, I'm listening. Yan, what are you going to do about this? When Emo's parents don't seem to be letting it go. If they... Jiang Yan quickly interrupted her. It'll be fine. Neither the school, nor our parents want to blow this up. At most, a few people will be singled out, make a proper apology, and compensate them with some money. It's all those college students' fault. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. Let alone their respective parents. Schools also care about their reputation. Mu Xian frowned tightly. Always felt things weren't that simple. The mall's surveillance footage. Jiang Yan wasn't worried. He had someone clear it out long ago. No one would find out. His father and the mall. Everyone had good relations. Clearing the surveillance was just a phone call away. Even without that connection, he believed no one would offend their Jiang family, right? My only worry now is what Mu Xian knows. I was in a panic that day, when I ran into him in the corridor. The look in his eyes. And that day he invited me to your house. The things he said. He seemed to have determined something. This is why Jiang Yan has been uneasy. Even when facing Mu Xian, Jiang Yan didn't dare to say much. Jiang Yan saying this, Mu Xian couldn't help but recall that day. Seeing the news, those were the words I told him. His handsome face instantly turned pale. I might have really seen who did the bad deed. Even if I didn't see clearly who it was, I definitely saw them bullying someone. If he were to reveal this matter, thinking of the consequences, Mu Xian couldn't sit still. He forced himself to calm down. Yan. Mu Xian might have really seen something. He asked me that day if I was involved in Wen Yimo's matter. But it seems he hasn't mentioned it to my parents. You hurry and find a way to tell the others. Let them fend for themselves. Mu Xian's words made Jiang Yan even more panicked. He hastily ended the call with him. Then he immediately called his usual buddies. Mu Xian gritted his teeth tightly, recalling past events. He couldn't help but regret it a little. When Yimo helped that pathetic guy, so be it. Helping for a while doesn't help forever. Why were they so insistent on clashing with him? At the time, he just felt that posture. That demeanor was too jarring. As if he was some kind of righteous crusader. And they were demons. So he said a few words to egg on his classmates. He originally just wanted to teach him a lesson, so he wouldn't meddle too much in the future. But he really didn't expect things to have escalated to this point today. As he thought about it, he secretly blamed those people. To let them have a little revenge. They're actually getting into it. kept going after Wen Yimo nonstop. Isn't the prince just picking on the weak? Now it's great they've crushed the prince. And Wen Yimo too. If he hadn't suggested the route back then, and threatened to expose them, he wouldn't have. Mu Xian pondered my affairs, thinking I might have seen what happened at the mall, but couldn't possibly know the whole story. I don't even have a phone. What could I know? Wishful thinking is beautiful, reality is cruel. On the third day, the internet was flooded with news. What panicked him even more was the Peking Opera incident. The surveillance footage that had already been deleted was actually exposed all at once. Even surveillance footage of him previously bullying and humiliating Wen Yimo was dug up. He went downstairs and saw me, as expected, sitting on the sofa again, staring at the TV. And the news was about this very matter. Seeing the familiar scenes inside, he almost choked in one breath. My legs went weak. Mu Xian's heart filled with fear and unease. Pei Shuero walked over. Seeing her pale face leaning on the armrest, her expression seemed off. She quickly asked, Xian, what's wrong? Why does your face look a little pale? Are you sick? Her voice startled me. I turned my head to look, and my gaze met Mu Xian's. Thinking of something, I smiled meaningfully. Mom's asking you a question. Mu Xian pursed her lips even tighter. Mom, I'm fine. Pei Shuero gave him a strange look. Seeing the news I was watching, she asked with concern. Xiaochen, you seem really interested in this news. What's the reason? I answered very frankly. You and Dad aren't planning to send me to the school, so I definitely need to understand it better. It's appropriate to understand people related to this school. Pei Shuero trembled all over. Only then did she suddenly think of a problem. That's right. A student from this school committed something like this, and people outside the school dare to bully them. Then what about the students inside the school? Xiao Chun is going to study at such a school. This school. Pei Shuero couldn't even bear to think about it. He didn't care that Mu Fu had just left. He immediately wanted to make a call. No, you can't go to this school. And Xian, you have to transfer schools too. Studying at such a school. Safety can't even be guaranteed. What's the point of studying? I'll find new schools for you. Mu Xian was stunned. Why did it suddenly turn to changing schools? He had never thought about changing schools. He was already familiar with his current school. He had his friends and social circle here, suddenly changing, and they're halfway through their junior year. Changing schools at this time. Do they still want to go to college? Mu Xian wanted to say something, but he knew there was a high chance he couldn't persuade his mother. So he looked at me, hoping I would speak up and persuade her. As for which school to study at, I don't care. So I didn't even glance his way. Mu Xian could only watch his mother make the call with pleading eyes. The footage of the Wen Yimo incident was leaked. After that, everyone involved with the director quickly handled it. The school immediately stepped forward to apologize. They promised to strengthen student moral education. The teacher, checking the computer tablet, was also heartbroken. Most of the students who pressured him came forward to apologize. Tears and snot streamed down their faces in front of the camera. They put on a show of being deeply regretful. When Yimo brought me to the room, gritting his teeth, he looked at the people apologizing in the video. If this matter hadn't been exposed, and if people online hadn't reacted so strongly, chasing after them demanding an explanation and condemnation, the public outcry was too great. They and their parents wouldn't have apologized. They wouldn't have taken this matter to heart at all. Regret. A dead, ordinary person. He's already dead. What else can you talk about? Others can't see it, but I can see them talking. Their apparent regret was sincere, but their eyes revealed indifference, even annoyance and resentment. Of course, they were resentful of the people who forced them. How embarrassing was this for them? For them. When Yimo's life was not as important as their reputation. When Yimo, in his life, was full of grief and indignation, and also deep confusion and bewilderment. He truly didn't understand. What exactly had he done wrong? Was his kindness and justice wrong? He was just trying to help out of good intentions. But instead, he was ostracized by them without cause. Those people used their family background to exert pressure, and ruined his peaceful life. That day, during the argument at the mall, he accidentally fell from upstairs. With a bang, everything was over. Now they say they know they were wrong, and beg everyone to give them a chance. But who will give him a chance? They didn't give him a chance back then. The more he thought about Wen Yimo's suppressed resentment, the more it seemed to be beyond his control. The temperature in the room instantly dropped significantly. Cold winds blew, causing things to sway. I looked up at the swaying chandelier. Hurry and calm him down. I'll let you personally take revenge. It was like the pause button was hit. The commotion in the room immediately stopped. Let me personally take revenge. No, I can't get close to them. When Yimo frowned, of course he wanted to get revenge himself, but for some reason he couldn't get close. He could only watch from afar. As soon as he got too close, he was blocked. Otherwise, he would have dealt with them already. You can't do anything about it. Just because you can't doesn't mean I can't. They did something they shouldn't have. It's not strange for ghosts to knock on doors in the middle of the night, I said calmly. They probably feel guilty about what they did. After when Yimo died, some of them were indeed scared. So they wore protective amulets, especially the one who caused him to fall. Although they quickly dismissed it, they still felt a bit guilty. They wore a jade pendant that had been blessed. When Yimo was warm-hearted during his life, it's impossible for him to suddenly become a ghost after death. So it's not strange that he couldn't get close to those few people. It's not strange at all. But none of that matters to me. When Yimo instantly resurrected with full health, if possible, of course, that would be best. But there's one thing you must remember. You cannot directly harm anyone. Sometimes death is not revenge, but a form of release. If you take a life, you won't be able to reincarnate smoothly. When Yimo was a kind person, he also liked to help others during his life. But he unfortunately met with an accident. If there were no accidents, he would have had a good next life. But if he committed murder, then the situation would be completely different. There's no need to ruin your own happy next life for these wicked people. When Yimo bit his lip, feeling a little unwilling, after a moment he nodded. Okay, I won't kill them. I want them to live in the shadows. I sent out a glowing talisman. It slowly landed on when Yimo. It disappeared quickly. When Yimo hadn't even reacted, she felt like something had been injected into her soul. It was as if she was instantly filled with strength. Go on. Haste makes waste. Take your time. If you encounter something you can't solve, I'll come to your rescue. When Yimo looked at me, touched, her eyes were glistening. There are many bad people in this world. They will bully the weak and pressure them unfairly. But there are also many good people, like those online speaking up for her. Like me, not related by blood, not even acquainted, still willing to help her with all my might. Since I told her she could let it all out, when Yimo didn't want to waste a single moment, she quickly disappeared from my room. From her fall to the incident being exposed, was only a matter of a few days. At first, that person was indeed panicking. After all, a life was lost. But that panic quickly subsided, turned into indifference. People from wealthy backgrounds, and their upbringing, and education easily lead them to develop a false sense of superiority, thinking they are above ordinary people, that ordinary people are naturally inferior. There's nothing they can't solve, and if they can't, they have their influence. Zhang Yan wasn't the one who caused the fall, but she was involved that day at the mall. In the matter of ostracizing Wen Yimo, Zhang Yan has had a tough few days. She just found out the news from Mu Xian. Before she could even do anything, the situation had spiraled out of control. She then told her parents about it. Naturally, she was severely reprimanded. However, her heart settled down again. Although her parents scolded her, they would absolutely not abandon her. With her Zhang family's influence, they could easily extricate her from this mess. That was easy. So Zhang Yan wasn't worried about it now. She even thought she could just transfer schools if it came to it. There were plenty of other good schools anyway. She wasn't afraid of not having a school to go to at all. She sat on the bed, leaning against the headboard. She was engrossed in the book in her hands. Every now and then, she'd burst out laughing at something. You couldn't tell at all that she was affected by anything. When Yimo floated into her room, this was the scene that greeted him. His anger flared up to the heavens. See? These people felt no remorse at all. They would never change their ways. People with worse backgrounds than them were not even as good as ants in their eyes. When Yimo's rage and resentment surged, the crystal chandelier in Zhang Yan's room immediately began to sway. It flickered a few times, emitting a few crackling sounds. As if there was a problem with the chandelier. Zhang Yan was startled by the sudden event. She looked up at the chandelier on the ceiling. She couldn't help but whisper, "What's going on? Is the light broken?" She stared at it for a while. The chandelier returned to normal, so she didn't pay it any mind. This incident, however, made her break out in a cold sweat. The switch had completely lost its function. She hadn't turned it off, but it turned itself off. She hadn't turned it on, but it turned itself on. And she had clearly closed the window. Yet the room felt as if wind was blowing in. She also felt a chill. For some reason, she suddenly thought of Wen Yimo. When Yimo's face changed, he reflexively turned to open the door and leave. But no matter how hard she pushed, the door that had been fine wouldn't budge. Open the door. Open the door. Someone, come quick. Quick, come save me. Someone, come. Zhang Yan couldn't suppress her inner fear. She screamed at the top of her lungs. Her scream was truly chilling. It's late again. Everyone else in the Zhang family villa. What happened to Zhang Yan? Open the door. What are you doing in the room? Can't open. There's a ghost. Dad, come save me quickly. Jiang Yen cried out with a trembling voice, and kept banging on the door. The fear in his voice came through the door, clearly to the ears of those outside. Nonsense. Calm down. Ghosts don't exist in this world. Don't scare yourself. Did the lock get stuck? Calm down and take a look first. Dad will have someone find the key, Zhang's father said, exchanging a look with Zhang's mother. Neither of them expected what had happened recently. Zhang's father's expression was a little grim. He was both angry and pained for his son. He thought he was scared by his own conscience. So he scared himself. Fortunately, the Zhang family lived in a detached villa, and they weren't close to each other. Otherwise, if he had shouted like that, everyone in the entire villa complex would have heard. The servants quickly brought the key, but the key wouldn't turn to open the door. Jiang Yen in the room kept screaming, accompanied by crackling sounds, like the sound of a shattered light fixture. With a final loud crash, the door that wouldn't open finally did. The Zhang family quickly pushed the door open and went in. The first thing they saw was a mess. In the originally luxuriously decorated room, ornaments were overturned. The lampshade of the bedside lamp hung askew. The hanging curtains were in disarray. The crystal chandelier on the ceiling had fallen. Shards scattered everywhere. A corner of the carpet was also lifted. The Zhang family was stunned. Looking closer, Jiang Yen lay unconscious behind the door. Cold sweat was still dripping from his forehead. They all rushed to pick it up. Then they quickly called a doctor. After the doctor's examination, he was surprised. Young Master Zhang seemed extremely frightened. Did he experience something terrible? The Zhang family's expressions turned uneasy. Zhang Fu forced a smile. To be honest, we're not too sure. This child was in his room. We thought he was asleep. Who knew we'd hear his screams? We went to check and found he had fainted. What could they say? To say their son did something he shouldn't have, and scared himself by seeing a ghost? He might have no shame, but the Zhang family does. The doctor didn't think much of it. He's physically fine, but the wound on his forehead is quite serious. It's likely to leave a scar. The Zhang family's expressions changed immediately upon hearing this. After the doctor left, Jiang Yen soon woke up, but he was clearly terrified. Before he had fully regained consciousness, he fell into a terrible nightmare. No, go away. It wasn't me. I didn't hurt you. I didn't push you down the stairs. Get away. Don't come looking for me. His eyes were still tightly shut, but his hands were flailing and struggling. His face was filled with fear and extreme dread. Upon hearing this, Mother Zhang's expression changed. Jiang Yen, wake up quickly. It's all right. You were having a nightmare. Wake up. She reached out frantically to pat her son's cheek, but got no response at all. Finally, she slapped him hard. Only then did she manage to wake him up. Jiang Yen opened his eyes and saw his mother. He burst into tears. He immediately threw himself into Mother Zhang's arms, clutching her clothes tightly, trembling all over. Mom, there's a ghost. I saw it. This one Ime. He's back to settle the score with me. He said I hurt him, and told me to pay with my life. I said I didn't. He didn't believe me. He wanted to strangle me. He never knew there were truly ghosts in this world. Clearly saw what happened in the room. That's something you can't explain with logic. And he truly saw it. Wearing the same clothes he had that day. It was really one Ime's ghost. Jiang Yen. You're confused. Where are there any ghosts in this world? You're scaring yourself. Don't overthink it. You don't need to worry about that incident. It'll be fine. Our family can handle it. No one can hurt you. Just behave and don't overthink. In a few days it'll all be over. Zhang's mother's face was extremely grim. What he said made her heart palpitate a little. But she still spoke calmly to comfort him. Perhaps in his mother's arms he felt safe. His emotions slowly calmed down. To completely convince him, Zhang's mother half pushed, half pulled him to see. The room had already been tidied by the servants. It wasn't as messy as before. See, it was just the chandelier that wasn't installed properly and fell. As for what you said about those things, that's because you didn't close the window properly, leaving a gap. Didn't you notice the strong wind today? When the wind blows in, it can naturally move things. And you're supposed to be educated. Zhang's mother said to him. She reached out and tapped his forehead. Zhang's mother's face showed no cracks. Her expression was as natural as could be. So much so that Jiang Yen started to waver, and wondered if he was just overthinking. Scared yourself, silly. Don't scare yourself. You can sleep in the guest room tonight. We'll have someone clean it up tomorrow. We won't install the crystal chandelier. Too dangerous. Jiang Yen was led to the guest room hesitantly. Jiang Yen, what are you talking about? Did you watch a horror movie? That's why you're experiencing a psychological suggestion, and think there's a ghost. Mu Xian didn't expect his friend to call him over, and talk about something so ridiculous. He saw Winnie Mo's ghost. How is that possible? In just one night, Jiang Yan's spirit has waned, and he's become a bit jumpy. He nervously looked around, and lowered his voice nervously. No, Xiao Xian. It's real. Everything I'm saying is true. I really saw his ghost last night. He was in my room. He trashed my room. He said I harmed him and wanted to settle the score. Then I fell asleep. The blanket suddenly floated in midair. I saw it with my own eyes. Jiang Yan's eyes were filled with terror. He got goosebumps talking about last night. He was persuaded by his mother last night. He stayed in the guest room for a long time without moving. So he slept soundly. But he woke up feeling cold. Even though he was covered with a thick down comforter. And the temperature wasn't that low. He finally couldn't stand the cold and woke up. This time, no one came. His cries seemed to be blocked by something. No matter how much he yelled, no one came. He was so scared he hid under the bed. But it was useless. When Inmo's voice echoed in the room, as if it came from hell, he didn't know how he survived. Jiang Yan had dark circles under his eyes. His eyes were filled with fear and unease, extremely tense. The slightest sound could scare him away. Mu Xian frowned tightly, feeling that what he said was impossible. But looking at him, he didn't seem to be lying. For a moment, Mu Xian couldn't make up her mind. As she hesitated, Jiang Yan stared at him with a strange look, and slowly said, "Little Xian, when Yin is looking for me and won't let me go, then he won't let you go either." Mu Xian's heart suddenly skipped a beat. She retorted in a low voice, "Jiang Yan, are you insane? There are no ghosts in this world. Snap out of it. Besides, his accident has nothing to do with you, and even less to do with me." Jiang Yan's expression turned dazed upon hearing that. He muttered to himself, "Right, I didn't cause him to fall. Why is he coming to find me? That day he just offered an idea. He wasn't forced to do it. If anyone's to blame, it's his own carelessness. He's dead, so why is he haunting me?" As he thought, Jiang Yan's wickedness surged. His deranged eyes turned fierce, carrying a touch of resolute cruelty. "Fine, if you're gonna haunt me as a ghost, then I'll find someone to deal with you. I'll make sure you're utterly destroyed, unable to even be a ghost." Once he had an idea. Jiang Yan couldn't wait a second longer. He threw down a sentence and left in a hurry. But Jiang Yan's thoughts were far too optimistic. The Jiang family absolutely did not believe him. They thought he had serious mental issues. Mother Jiang could only try to persuade and comfort him again and again. But she never mentioned inviting someone to perform a ritual. Although high society emphasized feng shui, and they would invite masters to help with layouts, that was only for wealth and good fortune. Ghosts were pure nonsense. Just as Jiang Yan grew more anxious, another terrifying event occurred, completely shattering Jiang Yan's sanity. Even Dai Muxuan was so scared she fell ill. The classmate who led the group of 7 that day suddenly fell ill, and was rushed to the emergency room overnight. Although they managed to save him, his mind completely collapsed. He spent all day huddled in his hospital bed, neurotically muttering, "I was wrong, it was me." His parents cried their hearts out, insisting someone had caused your death, and claiming it was Wen Yimo's parents. But investigations revealed this was impossible. Wen's father and mother lived far away from their home, a solid hour's drive by car. Moreover, they had an alibi. They hadn't been to that place. No one else had entered the house. The alarm system was intact. Wen Yimo was just an ordinary working person. But unexpectedly, his fate took a huge turn, making it one of the hottest topics. It involved issues of wealth disparity, which only increased the topic's popularity. The involved classmates' parents wanted to pay money to remove the trending topic, but each time they paid, it would rebound immediately, ranking even higher and exposing more information. They were so scared that they had to give up and play dead. So, even though a few days had passed, people online were still discussing the incident. Now that the involved classmate is dead, the news spread quickly. Compared to the pity and sympathy for Wen Yimo, there was no goodwill for that classmate. After all, public opinion is brutal. This was entirely deserved. She indirectly caused someone's death, and now one life for one life. Why should apologizing allow her to continue? Exactly. So cold-blooded at such a young age. May Wen Yimo's spirit rest in peace. Wen Yimo cried uncontrollably. I sat quietly by her side, watching her cry, offering no words of comfort. All right, your wish is now granted. It's time to depart. The person who caused your fall to your death has been scared to death. Wen Yimo didn't actually take any action. They were scared to death because they had a guilty conscience. An upright person naturally wouldn't be afraid. Someone with a guilty conscience sees ghosts in everything. It's not good for Wen Yimo to linger too long. She slowly stopped crying, lifted her face, and looked at me quietly. She closed her eyes and whispered, "Can I go see my parents?" I looked at her and firmly refused. "There's no need. Your parents have already gotten through it. If you go see them now, it's like reopening the wound, making them bleed anew." Wen Yimo was stunned for a moment. Chun Yiming understood the logic too. "However, I can help you escape the dream. You can go to the dream and say goodbye to your parents." Wen Yimo was happy and extremely grateful. "Thank you." I said frankly. It's just a matter of mutual benefit. When Yimo knew I helped her for repayment. Just as I said, mutual benefit. I helped her become the villain, resolving her immense resentment. Her parents wouldn't have to face the powerful alone, risking constant retaliation. She could leave with peace of mind. Madam One and Mother One slept soundly that night. It was the first time they slept so peacefully, since their daughter had an accident. In their dreams, they saw their daughter, just as obedient as she was in life. Smiling brightly, she told them she was leaving, telling them to take good care of themselves from now on. She finally said she was helped by a master to depart. For some reason, the couple thought of the young man who claimed to be their daughter's friend. They eagerly asked their daughter, but she didn't say anything. She just smiled and bid them farewell with reluctance, finally disappearing into the dream. As the couple slept, tears streamed from the corners of their eyes. They knew their daughter was truly gone this time. Perhaps there truly was a beautiful afterlife. Their daughter would surely have a good afterlife. She would grow up safe and sound, making up for all the regrets of this life. Although their daughter never admitted it outright, they believed the extraordinary person she spoke of was that young boy who visited their home that day. This meant she was no ordinary person. The couple woke up wondering how to thank him. I reappeared in their home. The couple was about to kneel upon seeing me, thanking me for helping their daughter fulfill her wish. I stopped them with a gesture. Do you still remember what I said? I helped you because I needed revenge. Now it's time for my revenge. Are you willing to give it? Yes. We are willing. We are willing to give anything we have. The couple said urgently and sincerely. I saw kindness in their eyes. I smiled slightly and nodded. Good. Now close your eyes. Silently meditate on the greatest revenge you can give me. The couple exchanged a glance. Without any further questions or hesitation, they slowly closed their eyes, their hearts filled with immense piety. Every so often I watched from above their heads. A pure golden light slowly rose. I revealed a satisfied smile. This is the merit they accumulated. The pure light represents gratitude and truth. What they are willing to give will surely be the greatest. This is the ultimate revenge I sought. I took out an exquisite sachet. With a slight wave of my small hand, 2 streams of golden light merged into the sachet in my hand. After collecting them, I said in a relaxed tone, Done. I have received the revenge you gave. You are both kind people, because you have kind hearts, performing good deeds and accumulating merit. That's why when Emo met me, the couple was stunned for a moment. When he couldn't help but blurt out, if that's the case, then why is our daughter still? I looked at her quietly. When Emo was destined to have regrets, although she passed away early in this life, because you performed good deeds and accumulated merit. Not only will she be able to reincarnate smoothly, the person she becomes after rebirth will be better. She will also live as you wished, grow up safely, get married, and have children. And so happiness finally found its way to them. Is this real? Aunt Wen's eyes lit up slightly. Of course. I never lie. That's good. That's good. Aunt Wen couldn't help but choke up. Before I left, I wanted to say something, but the words caught in my throat, and I swallowed them back. I felt it was unnecessary. Aunt Wen, who had always practiced good deeds, lost a child she truly loved, but would eventually gain another child. Aunt Wen's departure was painful, but it also symbolized a new beginning. I returned home and saw Dr. Song. Seeing the doctor, I raised an eyebrow. Mu Xian had fallen gravely ill. Several doctors had seen him, but there was no improvement. The Mu family was frantic. Of course, that didn't include me. Pei Shuero's brow smoothed as she walked down. Seeing me, her brow smoothed a little. Xiao Cheng is back. Did you get done what you needed to? If you need anything, be sure to tell Mom. Her face was etched with deep worry. Now that Xiao Xian is sick, Xiao Cheng can't have any more trouble. I don't know what's going on with Xiao Xian. He suddenly got sick for no reason. We took him to the hospital for tests, and there was nothing wrong. We've seen several doctors, taken medicine and had injections, but there's been no improvement at all. It's driving us crazy. Mom, what did the doctor say? Seeing me proactively inquire about Mu Xian, Pei Shuero seemed a little pleased, thinking I genuinely cared about my brother. Still the same. He claims he foresaw this. But how is that possible? What could Xiao Xian, a child, foresee? To the point of falling gravely ill? I think these doctors, one by one, are incompetent. If Xiao Xian had just found out he was sick then, I might believe that, but it's been over a month. Everything was fine before. Suddenly falling ill is clearly not the reason. But asking little Xian yielded nothing. I smiled meaningfully. Perhaps the doctor was right. He might have some mental issues, who knows? Isn't there a saying, a sick heart needs to be healed with care? Pei Shuero was taken aback. Mental issues. But what mental issues could little Xian have? I smiled with pure, harmless innocence. Then you'd have to ask what he's been up to. Pei Shuero looked at her son suspiciously. Little Chung, do you know something? I'm not trying to completely smear Xian. Whatever happens to him has nothing to do with me. But him falling ill like this at home, turning the house upside down. Mom and Dad are worried sick too. Look at my mom's well-maintained eyes. They've developed fine lines from worrying. I crouched down and spoke directly. Mom, have you seen the news online? The incident at the mall. Pei Shuero obviously remembered it. She'd been following the developments. After all, it was a big deal. But wasn't that all resolved? That girl accidentally fell. The mall surveillance footage was released after the perpetrator was scared to death. The public was in an uproar. He knew the child's parents too. Their relationship was average. I didn't expect this. Now even the company is affected. I heard they're already preparing to move. He understood the situation and felt a sigh of relief. But what does this have to do with little Xian? I said casually. Zhang Yan's current condition is worse than Mu Xian's. He's yelling all day about seeing the ghost of a female employee. That day at the mall, Zhang Yan was there too. He just got lucky and hid in the back, so he wasn't filmed much. So after that classmate died, he was scared half to death himself. Pei Shuero's heart jolted. Her eyes widened in shock after understanding. Her face was a mask of disbelief. I didn't directly implicate Mu Xian, but Pei Shuero could figure it out herself. Zhang Yan and Mu Xian were extremely good friends. They were in the same school, same class. If Zhang Yan had done anything awful, did Mu Xian truly know nothing about it? How could that be possible? Pei Shuero clearly understood this point too. So her expression immediately soured. I left it at that, saying no more. When Mu Fu got home from work that evening, Pei Shuero told him about the matter. He was also greatly shocked after hearing it. After all, in his long-held impression, Xiao Xian had always been well-behaved and sensible. How could she do something like this? But thinking of her unusual behavior these past few days, Mu Fu's heart sank. The two of them went to Mu Xian's room. Seeing them walk in, Mu Xian forced herself to sit up from the bed. Mom, Dad, why are you here? Is something wrong? Mu Xian's current spirits were very low. Not like someone who had only been sick for a few days, but more like someone who had been ill for a long time. Mu Fu sat down, his expression extremely serious, looking at her sternly. Xiao Xian, I have no questions for you. You just need to answer honestly. Mu Xian's heart faltered. She subconsciously glanced at Pei Shuero. Seeing her expression was equally solemn. She was flustered with a sense of bewildered confusion, but she still nodded slightly. Okay, ask away. Did you participate in that matter? He asked directly, caught Mu Xian completely off guard. And precisely because of this suddenness, Mu Xian's expression couldn't be hidden in time, and was seen clearly by both of them. The expression on her face said it all. A deep disappointment settled in their eyes. Their son, who was so obedient and kind in front of them, was actually like this in private. This was incredibly disappointing to them. They didn't remember teaching her such things. Pei Shuero was even more disappointed and heartbroken. I've never slacked off on your education. I've always cared and asked about everything. When you face problems in life, I'd use it as a chance to teach you, to establish correct values and morals. We weren't like many wealthy families, who just dumped you on tutors and forgot about you. But why would Mu Xian do this? Why would she bully a classmate, and still not admit her mistake when caught by adults, to the point where it ultimately led to an accident? Mu Xian met their disappointed gazes. She knew then that the matter couldn't be hidden any longer. The fear that had been weighing on her heart these past days. Her fear and worry erupted all at once. She let out a loud sob. Soon she was crying, barely able to catch her breath, crying as she defended herself. Dad, Mom, I've disappointed you. I know I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong. I didn't expect it to turn out this way. I didn't do anything to miss one. I didn't know she would react like that. You're saying you didn't know about something like this? Mu Fu was so angry he didn't know what to say. You don't know whether to do something bad or not. Is she an ignorant child of 3 years old? She's already 17. She's had over 10 years of schooling. Doesn't she have basic morals and values? Why did you do this? You were well-behaved and sensible in front of us. Was all of that a lie? Why did you bully someone else? Mu Xian bit her lip, her eyes darting around. Hesitantly, she didn't dare to speak her mind. She knew that was extremely wrong, but she really couldn't help it. She had always been outstanding since childhood. The most dazzling person in any crowd. Like the moon, surrounded by stars. But that classmate stole her spotlight, and took away her first place. Still not telling the truth. Pei Shuero's furious shout startled her. Mu Xian trembled uncontrollably, biting her pale lips. With some shame, she started to explain the reason. As she spoke, her voice grew quieter. Pei Shuero wished she could go over there immediately. What was all this she was hearing? This was threatening harm. She was extremely jealous of others doing well. Why not work hard and improve herself, instead of resorting to such underhanded tactics to hurt people? She looked at Mu Xian in shock and disbelief, feeling like this son was a stranger. Was it that she didn't understand her son enough, or had she never understood him at all? She couldn't help but doubt it deeply. Pei Shuero's gaze frightened Mu Xian. She threw herself into her arms, tightly hugging her waist, and cried out loudly, "Mom, I'm so sorry. I really didn't mean to. I didn't know it would turn out this way. At first, I just wanted to see her embarrassed. I didn't want to hurt anyone. Really. Later, what they did, I wasn't involved. I was truly not involved. I didn't know about that incident at the mall. Zhang Yi didn't mention it to me. Only later, when things escalated, did she tell me. It was only then I found out. If I had been there, I definitely would have stopped them. I didn't want to hurt anyone. Dad, I truly know I was wrong. I never imagined things would turn out like this. I'll never dare to do it again. I won't be jealous of others anymore. I'll work hard to become better myself. Mom and Dad, please believe me." Mu Xian, a mix of anger and earnestness, pleaded. She wasn't of the Mu family's bloodline. She was a fake now. She couldn't let her parents be completely disappointed. If they were disappointed in her, would they abandon her, and then heartlessly send her away? Where would she go then? Mu Xian was already anxious and uneasy. The classmates involved in this had encountered strange events, and the main culprit behind the fall was terrified to death. Her nerves were stretched to the absolute limit, and her psychological endurance had reached its end. Now that the Mu couple knew, thoughts of being kicked out raced through her mind. Regret, fear, dread, unease, despair, all surged into my heart at once. I hadn't gotten a good rest in many days, so when she got anxious, she couldn't hold back and fainted. The Mu family erupted into chaos again. Everyone went to Mu Xian's room, but I was nowhere to be seen. Mu Wanting was furious, her hostility palpable. She was overheard by Pei Shuero. Hearing her second daughter target her eldest son for Mu Xian's sake, she immediately flew into a rage. She scolded them harshly and with urgency. "Why are you targeting Xiao Chun all day long? He's your own brother, not your enemy. And besides, is Xiao Chun a doctor? Does his presence or absence affect anything?" Pei Shuero was actually a tolerant mother. She would usually act like she was going to discipline her children, but everyone knew it was just for show. She rarely reprimanded them so severely, so Mu Wanting was stunned by the scolding. Mu Wanting and the twins had just returned. The group exchanged glances, simultaneously harboring a question. Had something happened at home? The Mu sisters sensed the abnormal atmosphere. They had initially just suspected something was wrong, but now they were practically certain. I remained the only one unaffected. I continued doing whatever I pleased, spending my days engrossed in TV shows. They had originally planned to hire a tutor for me, but that had been put on hold for now. Others had their own heavy homework, while I spent my days watching TV. The only thing that got me off the sofa was meals. "Xiao Chen, you're home all day. Has something happened at home?" Eldest sister is busy at the company, sometimes neglecting things at home. If anything has happened at home, remember to tell eldest sister. Mu Wanting, rarely home, still spent half the day working in her study. Only then did she come downstairs and see me watching TV. She squatted down and sat beside me. I didn't even move my gaze. "Is everything okay at home?" "It's fine." "Is it really okay?" "Mom and Dad seem troubled these past few days." "Is it because of your studies?" If I don't say it, she'll have to probe herself. It's been over a month since I returned to the Mu family. But Mu Wanting is very unfamiliar with her younger brother. Hearing this, I accidentally let go of Mu Guang. It's just that her eyes aren't quite right. "Why do you say it's because of me? You assume if something happens at home, it's my fault." "That's not what I meant. I know you're very well behaved." "No, I'm not well behaved." Mu Wanting felt exhausted. "If you want to know, go ask Mom and Dad. I don't want people to say bad things about me in the future, and sow discord between you." I returned my gaze to the TV. Mu Wanting raised an eyebrow. "What's with this tone? Could it be that Xiao Xian remembered the previous 2 nights?" Mu Wanting couldn't help but frown. Before she could find an opportunity to ask, it was already New Year's Eve. The atmosphere in the Mu family had pretty much reversed. Mu Xian, who had been sick for days, recovered. She just became much more withdrawn. "This is the first Lunar New Year I've celebrated back with the Mu family." Mu father and Pei Shuero both took it very seriously. They had people start preparing long ago. The meticulously decorated home, and the dishes prepared for the New Year's Eve banquet. All of it was done with great care. Everything revolved around me. As for the others in the family, they've already had so many New Years. What's wrong with letting Xiao Chun have it this year? Isn't that only natural? On New Year's Eve, the house was lively. The previous gloom seemed to have disappeared. Mu father and Pei Shuero's attitude towards Mu Xian hadn't changed at all. The two of them had talked once after that day. They hadn't brought it up again since. It was the first time I celebrated a grand new year in the human world. I felt very excited, and my whole demeanor became much happier. My smile increased. My temper seemed to improve a lot too. Didn't lash out at Mu Yue. Made Pei Su Ro and Father Mu incredibly happy. After the new year, the family prepared to return to the capital. The Mu family's foundation is in the capital. Old Mrs. Mu also lives in the capital. Father Mu as an elder. During the new year, Li Ying took the children to pay New Year's greetings. Otherwise, it's easy to be criticized. Normally, each family celebrates their own. Unless there are special circumstances. We would gather in the capital for a reunion dinner. And I just returned. You should take me to the capital to meet people. Besides these three siblings, the Mu family has other collateral relatives. They still keep in touch now. On the second day of the new year, the family packed up and set off. We took our private jet back to the capital. As it was my first time on a plane, I was very curious. On the plane, I pressed my whole body against the window, staring intently at the outside. Pei Su Ro found it amusing. Mu Yue, seeing this, opened his mouth to tease me. Pei Su Ro shot him a look. He immediately shut up. When we reached the capital's territory, the Mu family arranged for someone to pick us up at the airport. We got in the car and headed straight for the Mu family's old mansion. Before we left, Pei Su Ro briefed me on the complex interpersonal relationships here. I listened and nodded slightly, didn't say any unnecessary words. Arriving in front of the Mu family's old mansion, I habitually surveyed the surroundings. The Mu family has stood in the capital for 100 years. Naturally, the ancestral home has been continuously renovated, gradually evolving into its current form. Not the European-style villas that the rich prefer, but a style with traditional Chinese aesthetics. A square, large courtyard house, where strong historical traces can be found. Generations of the Mu family have maintained the house impeccably. I heard that a master was hired for the construction back then. The head of the family, before passing away, left an instruction that descendants must not change the address of the ancestral home, must not easily disturb the foundation, and absolutely not to resell the old mansion. If renovations were needed, they could only be done on the existing foundation. If you violate it, you'll lose your inheritance. That's precisely why this was established. The ancestral home, strictly speaking, hasn't changed much. Only the superstructure has changed. I can tell the ancestral home truly favors its descendants. In such rapid prosperity over the years, the descendant energy can be vaguely seen above the residents. Yet it also shows signs of decline. The protective influence of the ancestral home's fortune is disappearing. It looks like no one has tampered with the ancestral home. Then the problem must lie with the descendants. I slightly curved my lips. This is getting interesting. Happy New Year. The first greeting upon entering the house was Happy New Year. Today it wasn't just the Mu family visiting. The eldest sister, who's married, also brought her family. Oh my, is this Xiaoqin? I'm so sorry. Last time, something came up at home, and I couldn't make it, or, you can't blame your aunt. Mu Xiaoxian immediately noticed me. A new face standing next to Pei Shuero. It must be the son our third brother found. He looks so much like your parents. I'm their son. Of course I'd look like them. Mu Xiaoxian's smile seemed to falter. Casually, he said, This is our cousin from the Mountain Taoist Temple. He looks so rustic. Not at all like the eldest young master of the Mu family. The guy whose name sounds similar. He jumped directly to Mu Xiaoxian's side. His gaze swept over me intently. He appeared extremely rude. His tone was one of undisguised contempt. Pei Shuero's expression immediately darkened. Mu Xiaoxian quickly pulled his son back. A gentle scolding, neither here nor there. How could you speak like that? I met his gaze with an even more critical and disdainful look. Mu Xiaoxian and his son's expressions changed. Meng Sijie's face turned red with anger. Yage, I didn't expect me to be so unconventional. Most people would just swallow their pride in this situation. Why did he openly talk back? Pei Shuero was overjoyed. On the surface, she mimicked Mu Xiaoxian's earlier demeanor. You child, what are you saying? I replied calmly, putting on a poker face. Am I learning from him? I thought all young masters from the capital were like this. Mu Yue held back laughter from the side. Before, I was the one getting chewed out. Finally, it was someone else's turn today. Seeing that I didn't say a word to him, why was he so happy? Although this cousin got along well with Xian, I just really disliked him. Little Xian is also a young master of the Mu family. His status is noble and complex. But he's not as unreasonable and unruly as him. And also particularly selfish, acting like the whole world revolves around him. During childhood gatherings, Meng Sijie didn't dare to provoke the eldest sister too much. But it was different with others. They were all forced to become his toys. They had to indulge him no matter what. If he didn't get his way, he'd throw a tantrum. And when he caused trouble, he'd blame them, making them take the fall countless times. As he got older, he learned to play the victim. It made us all annoyed whenever we saw him. Now someone can finally handle him. Pei Shuero glared at her second daughter, trying to rein her in, telling her not to go too far. Then she turned to Mu Xiaoxian with an apologetic look. Eldest sister, I'm so sorry. Xiao Chun is good in every way, just too blunt. Please don't take it to heart. After speaking, she turned her gaze back to me. Young masters from the capital naturally have good manners. Your cousin was just joking. You can't be so petty and take it seriously. Mu Xiaoxian felt a belly full of frustration. What should I do? So if his son takes it seriously, he's petty? This was Meng Xijia's first time encountering something like this. She stamped her foot and ran off, displeased. When no one was looking, Mu Yue praised me in a hushed voice. Well done, you can't indulge him. I glanced at him indifferently. I'm not his parents. Of course I won't indulge him. Well said, it makes sense. Why didn't I think like this when I was being bullied before? Except for my paternal aunt's family, I hadn't met anyone else. The rest of the Mu family's main branch at the family reunion. I didn't have much contact with my cousins. We just introduced ourselves. Lu Manqi is the third son of Mu Minyuan. The second and youngest sons are close in age. The eldest son is already married. He married a daughter from a prominent Beijing family. Mu Xiaoxian and Xie Fuxing only have one son. That is Meng Xijia. Everyone gathered together. There were quite a lot of people. It seemed very lively. Old Mrs. Mu's smile never faded. How did Xiao Xian get hurt so much? Old Mrs. Mu pulled Mu Xian to her side. She frowned slightly, looking him up and down. Mu Xian touched his face, about to deny it. Old Mrs. Mu then turned to Pei Shuero. She spoke with displeasure and accused her. Even though Xiao Xian's background was mistaken, he was still raised in the Mu family for so many years. You can't be cruel to her just because of blood ties. Pei Shuero's expression soured. What did she mean they were cruel to Xiao Xian? When were they ever cruel? Mu Xian saw Pei Shuero's expression change. He quickly spoke up to explain. Grandma, no. Mom and Dad are very good to me. It was my pet cat who got a fever a few days ago. In winter, if you're not careful, they get sick. Mom and Dad are very good to me. Grandma, please don't misunderstand. If Mu Xian had said this naturally like before, in a cooing tone, old Mrs. Mu would have believed him. But because of the Winnie Mo incident, she had a huge shadow hanging over her. She felt her parents must be disappointed in her. So she became a little cautious. Quickly explaining was originally a good thing. But to others it seemed like something else. It only made things worse. Old Mrs. Mu held Mu Xian's hand. Xiao Xian, don't overthink it. You are the young master of my Mu family. I'll say it clearly here. From now on, whoever dares to make things difficult for you, call Grandma. Grandma will get justice for you. As she spoke, her son glanced at me. I noticed it, but I was completely unfazed. I wasn't surprised at all. Mu Xian isn't a Mu family child, but she was raised for over a decade. Those years of feelings aren't fake. The emotional investment yielded results. You can't just take it all back overnight. Blood is important, but so are long-standing relationships. I'll say it again. As long as Mu Xian doesn't provoke me, I have no interest in ruining things. As for petty jealousy, hey, what's that? What are you talking about? Who's bullying Xiao Xian? Xiao Xian was sick recently. Took a few days to recover. Mu Fu was not happy with his mother's words. Honestly, regarding Xiao Chen, if he was deliberately targeting Xiao Xian, then why keep him around? To bring trouble upon ourselves? Mu Xian looked pleadingly at Grandma Mu. Mom and Dad are really good to me. Please don't blame them. He should be grateful he can stay. After all, he's not the real young master. Alright. Don't get upset. Your grandma just cares about you too much. Your grandma mentions you all the time. If it weren't for school starting soon, she'd want you to stay longer. Grandma Mu's atmosphere was about to be ruined. She quickly came out to ease the awkwardness. Grandma Mu didn't dwell on it. She patted Mu Xian's head. Mu Xian looked up at her with affection. You'll have your college entrance exams next year. Aim for Jingcheng University. And you can live with the Mu family too. Mu Xian looked at Pei Shuero next, as if asking for her opinion. Pei Shuero smiled absent-mindedly. Regarding college applications, didn't the family already discuss this? It all depends on what Xiao Xian likes. He chimed in, going along with the old lady's words. Grandma's right. Attending Jingcheng University would make it easier to look after him. Mu Xian was happy for a moment. Then, doubt began to creep into his heart. Had his mother truly become disappointed? Did she not like him anymore? He thought she wanted him to attend Jingcheng University, so he could be far away from home. He wouldn't have to be at home so often. His mood immediately plummeted, but he didn't dare show it. He could only force a smile. Fortunately, he lowered his head. Otherwise, who knows what everyone would have thought. The Mu Fu family stayed in the capital for 2 days. Pei Shuero wanted to take me around sightseeing. After all, I had never been to the capital. There were many fun things and delicious foods in the capital. During the New Year, the most common thing to do was visit temples. Most people in the capital did that, and there were grand temple fairs. Those were very lively. On the third day, Mu Mingyuan also joined the fun. He called out to his family, saying it was a rare gathering. Then let's just go together. More people meant more liveliness. So, the entire large family set off in 2 minivans. Meng Xijie, I don't know what she was thinking, also joined in the fun. She pulled Mu Xian into her uncle's car, sending away Mu Mingyuan's youngest son. Mu Rushui was a bit simple-minded. She couldn't say comforting words. She appeared to be a simple and honest girl. She got along well with Mu Yue since childhood. Seeing the two getting along well and chatting, my eyes briefly met theirs. As expected, birds of a feather flocked together. Mu Yue considered himself simple and honest, and he got along with the equally simple and honest Rushui. Mu Yue noticed my gaze. Mu Mingqi looked at me strangely. What was he up to again? It was New Year's. I hope he wouldn't cause any trouble. I quickly looked away. The impostor has been famous in the capital for over a decade. This temple is over 300 years old, although it has gone through changes in dynasties, and been through wars. I entered the temple without any psychological burden, as the others were in front of the Buddha statue, closing their eyes and murmuring in their hearts, hoping I would quickly accumulate enough merit to return to the gate of reincarnation. After praying for a while, I opened my eyes and met the Buddha statue's compassionate gaze. I paused. Why does the Buddha statue's gaze feel off? I wondered if it was my guilty conscience, making me feel like the Buddha statue's gaze was off. I stared at the Buddha statue without blinking, trying to confirm if the problem was mine. Shaochen, don't stare at the Buddha statue like that. The Buddha statue will blame you. Pei Shuero finished praying and noticed her son was kneeling upright, but his eyes were too bold, staring directly at the Buddha statue in front of him. I looked away. Mom, don't you think the gaze is strange? Pei Shuero glanced casually, and quickly looked away. Forcing a smile, she said, You silly child, what are you thinking about? Aren't all Buddha statues like this? What's strange about it? This Buddha statue in the main hall has been here for over 300 years. It's been enshrined since the temple was built. It has never changed. How could there be anything strange about it? Thinking about her son growing up in a Taoist temple, Pei Shuero gently comforted him. Although there are many temples now, there are still Taoist temples. When we have time, I'll take you to visit a Taoist temple. If I weren't a prince under the Queen Mother, I'd be scared by you. Even though I'm not a ghost, I'm still from the underworld, and I'm naturally not on the same path as Buddhist immortals. Let's have less of this place from now on. After all, we're not on the same path. Before I stood up, I couldn't help but glance over. I still felt something was off about the eyes. At first glance, they seemed merciful, but on a second look, they felt strange. Not like someone in politics or economics. More like, after leaving the main hall, I put away my thoughts. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. This temple's Buddha statue has been around for over 300 years. Who knows how much incense it's received? If there was a problem, it should have been purified by the incense. Pei Shuero has visited this temple a few times. The scenery is still quite nice. There was a big snowfall in the capital before the New Year. The temperature has been low these past few days. The snow hasn't melted yet. It's a good opportunity to go up the mountain and see the snow. When they said there was a snow view, I got interested. I've never actually seen snow. I probably haven't seen it. I don't remember how long I stayed in Wangxi City. Before I came to Wangxi City, I probably hadn't either. Otherwise, why would I have no memory of it at all? Pei Shuero watched me walking ahead. I was skipping and hopping a little. A complete change from my usual mature demeanor at home. At this moment, I looked like a young boy, watching her lively son. Her lips curved into a kind smile. Her eyes were filled with affection. She still felt a bit of regret deep down. She missed out on her son's growth. The Mu sisters watched, feeling. They thought this brother's personality was just a watered-down version. Turns out he's still just a child. As for why he's more composed than an adult, no need to think too hard about it. Mu Yue felt a warmth surge within her. She thought to herself, I should give him more leeway from now on. After all, I'm the fourth sister. As we walked, Mu Yue got a little mischievous. She bent down and scooped up a handful of snow. She rolled it into a snowball and threw it at me from in front. The snowball hit me right in the chest. I stopped in my tracks. With a tight face, I turned around. The third Mu sister, Chi-Chi, pointed at her. I'm innocent. I watched Mu Yue, narrowing my eyes. He's gotten bold, daring to throw snow at me. Seeing me, Mu Yue provocatively threw snow. I stared at her and suddenly smiled, revealing my pearly white teeth. I wore a white fluffy hat on my head, with two fuzzy balls dangling down. The brim of the hat had cute decorations. When I smiled like that, my little face felt plump, like a little kitten grinning. The four sisters were terrified seeing this. It sent shivers down their spines, making them want to pinch my cheeks. Impulse. So the little brother is this cute, compared to the usual Chung. This must be the charm of contrast. I didn't know I'd restore my image with a smile. From then on, in the hearts of the four sisters, a deep impression of contrast charm was left. Mu and Wei have seen it too much. Scratched his head, thinking she seemed cuter than Xiao Xian. Thinking this, a white mass flew towards me. She reacted quickly and dodged a little, but didn't dodge. Snow hit her face. She froze for a moment, thought she could dodge it. My hands on my hips, a smug smile. You want to throw at me? Try to dodge. Dream on. Peishuero stood nearby, clenching her fists, encouraging and praising her son. Xiaochen. Good job. That was brilliant. Your four sisters totally deserved that beating. Go ahead and smash her. As long as you don't kill her, it's fine. Mom, I'm still your daughter. Mu Wanting screamed in despair. Peishuero dismissed her with disgust. I hope you're not my daughter. Too bad we look so much alike. No one should have been suspicious. Mu Wanting felt like her heart had been stabbed and she started crying. Aren't you afraid my brother will hurt me? She asked persistently. Peishuero waved her hand. That only proves you're useless. What's wrong with getting hit by a few snowballs? Could it really hurt you? If you really got hurt, it would only prove you're too weak. You'll be laughed at later. As I spoke, I rolled another snowball and threw it at her. I've wanted to deal with Mu Wanting for a long time. All brawn and no brain. Easily swayed by a few words from others. Who knows what she'll do if she's used later. Normally I can't be bothered with her. Today she came at me herself, so I won't hold back. I'll deal with her first. So Mu Wanting and I started fighting. At first she thought with her strong physique, she wouldn't lose to a little boy in a snowball fight. She thought she'd seize the opportunity to get revenge. But who knew? Reality was harsh. She was completely toyed with. In the end, she was hit by me and ran around with her head covered. Those three heartless sisters just watched from the sidelines. No one even came to help her. A family of 8. She's probably the one who was adopted, right? What are you guys doing? Mu Wanting and I, who were playing, stopped. Mu Wanting secretly breathed a sigh of relief. So embarrassing. To lose to my brother in a snowball fight. It was Mu Xian and Meng Xijie. They all came together. After paying respects, they went their separate ways. Meng Xijie insisted on dragging Mu Xian along. So Mu Xian followed her. They happened to run into us now. Seeing Mu Wanting in such a mess. Her clothes, which she wore out, were all dirty from the snowballs. Her hair was like a bird's nest, full of blood. And then look at me. Clean and pure. Mu Xian is a little displeased. Xiaochen, how did you hit fourth sister like this? Mu Yue heard this and knew it was bad. Mu Wanting wanted to explain before I spoke. But I didn't give her any time. If you hadn't yelled, I could have hit harder. Besides, she hit me first. She only hit me once. And the result? I treated her like a ball and hit her. Mu Xian held back, opened her mouth and said tenderly, but you still can't hit her like this. Mu Yue quickly chimed in. Little Xian, I'm fine. I was playing snow hockey with her. It doesn't hurt at all. Just look at the blood on your clothes. You don't need to worry. Having her mood ruined by Mu Xian, I threw the bloody snowball in my hand aside, wiped my hands clean and snorted, walked to Peishuero's side. Mom, let's keep going. Peishuero smiled and nodded, then looked at Mu Xian and Meng Xi's sister. Since we ran into each other, let's go together. It's crowded during the new year, and accidents are easy to happen. Although she was worried about the two of them getting hurt, fell on Mu Xian first. I helped a master out with something, and she promised me something. I never thought of cashing it in before and stayed silent. But now she has to. She has to save her eldest grandson. Peishuero's group circled the temple. The journey went smoothly and they left. The couple's hearts were put at ease. They stayed in the capital for 2 days before setting off for Heir. While my father was busy with my schooling, the couple thought about it and decided. When they first thought about this, they actually had no confidence at all. Given Xiao Chen's personality, there's no way I can count on him and Mu Xian to look out for each other. But in the end, I decided to go with it anyway, holding onto a sliver of hope. Maybe things aren't as bad as I thought. I've been catching up on studies since I got back. The Mu family sisters have been tutoring me, and we've had teachers come to the house. At first, everyone was unsure of the situation. What had I learned before? But soon it became completely clear. Although I never had a formal education, the wet nurse who adopted me taught me a lot. I have a great capacity to learn, so I learned very quickly. Mu Fu and Peishuero were surprised and delighted, and relieved at the same time. Fortunately, the wet nurse was educated, and taught Xiao Chen a lot of knowledge. Otherwise, he might have ended up like Wen Mang. Soon it was time for school to start. This day, Mu Fu delayed his work and personally drove his son to school. Pei Shui-ro, who was worried, was in the car, and Mu Wan-ting, representing the four sisters. In the car, Pei Shui-ro kept giving instructions. I didn't show any impatience. On the contrary, Mu Wan-ting had heard enough. Mom, that's enough. He's just going to school. You'd think he was going to do something dangerous. Mu Wan-ting rolled her eyes. And it's not boarding school either. He'll be home every day, what could possibly happen? Pei Shui-ro glared at her. If you don't know anything, just shut up. Something happened at this school not long ago. If Mu Xian hadn't been studying here all along, and it's his final semester, I would never let Xiao Chen study here. Thinking about that accident, Pei Shui-ro felt uneasy. After all, Mu Xian was involved in it. She wanted to say a few words. Seeing Mu Xian silent beside her, she swallowed her words. Never mind. I believe she knows she was completely wrong, and won't do anything foolish again. If she continues to dwell on it, she's bound to overthink things again. Mom, don't worry. I won't let anyone bully me. I know what she's worried about. Never mind that I'm the young master of the Mu family. Even if I were an ordinary person, if someone dared to bully me, I'd pay them back 100-fold. Bad people always pick on the weak. As long as you're more ruthless than them, they'll be afraid of you instead. My father and Pei Shui-ro saw me off at the school entrance and couldn't go any further. Normally, parents aren't allowed in school. They can only pick up and drop off at the entrance. Watching me and Mu Xian walk in, Pei Shui-ro was still a little worried. Mu Fu rubbed his shoulders and tried to comfort her. Don't worry. Xiao Chun is a bright kid. He'll be fine. Besides, he's not someone who gets taken advantage of. Pei Shui-ro glanced at him indifferently. She couldn't be bothered to explain herself further. Knowing his personality made her worry even more. What if he got into a conflict or argument? I entered the school, my eyes unable to hide my joy. It was as if I was carefully surveying the school. Kids these days are truly fortunate. Boys can also attend school together. It only costs a small amount of money. Such a spacious and bright place. Such a flat, clean floor. No need to fear the heat in the summer. No need to dread the cold in the winter. Not like kids in the past. Only children of the upper nobility had better school environments. It was extremely difficult for commoner children to study. Why would I think this way? Could it be that I've seen this time before? I was momentarily perplexed. I couldn't find any matching memories in my mind, as if I'd only heard ghosts talk about it before. Mu Xian noticed my astonished gaze, and my actions of looking around. She couldn't help but feel very pleased inside. She lowered her eyes, concealing the clarity within them. Xiao Chen, do you know how to get to your classroom? Do you want me to take you? Mu Xian stood in front of the teaching building and asked. I glanced at him coldly. No thanks. Mu Xian smiled slightly. Then go by yourself. Your classroom is upstairs. Easy to find. Ask a teacher if you can't find it. Mu Xian knew the time of my return. It was right before the winter break. To prevent him from being looked at like the people around him. Thinking of this, Mu Xian exhaled, turned and walked in one direction. No wonder father's expression was so complicated and hard to describe when he heard I was coming to Class F. You're a new student, right? Your name is Mu Chun, correct? The homeroom teacher for Class F hurried over. Saw a boy standing by the back door. He paused, remembering this. I suddenly turned around, stared at the teacher, observing him carefully. Confirmed his identity. Bowed respectfully. Hello, teacher. The teacher was taken aback by me. So shocked? Also in his behavior. Student Mu Chun. I am your homeroom teacher. My surname is Lu. Everyone calls me Big Lu. You can call me that too. Come to me if you encounter difficulties in the future. I shook my head slightly. Said seriously and properly. You are a teacher, I should respect you. How can I call you Big Lu? Respecting teachers and valuing their teachings is basic character. Big Lu was suddenly a little touched. Having been a teacher for so long, felt a spiritual vibration for the first time. But this emotion was fleeting. Big Lu quickly returned to normal. Class is about to start. Come in with me. Big Lu strode into the classroom. The students ignored him. They continued to be noisy and rowdy. Big Lu was clearly used to it. Everyone be quiet. Quiet down, everyone. Class is starting. Previously, when introducing a new classmate, Big Lu yelled at the top of his lungs. The noise in the classroom paused. All eyes turned, focusing on me standing at the podium. It's really getting on my nerves at this point. That's quite surprising. He's a good-looking guy, isn't he? He's a real looker. Big Lu listened to the murmuring from below, and felt a surge of something akin to sweetness. Cola spoke to me gently. Classmate Mu Chun, please introduce yourself first. I nodded, my expression calm. Looking at the crowd below. I am Mu Chun. Classmate Mu, you're finished. I shot him an inexplicable glance. What else do you expect? This time, my introduction was really simple. After introducing myself, it was time to arrange seating. Delu was still looking to see where I should sit. I scanned the room myself and walked towards a particular seat. Seeing me sit down in a seat, Delu and the classmates' mouths dropped open, their faces looking completely stunned. Amidst their shock, the classmates seemed to have a hint of anticipation, as if watching a show. Who told you to sit here? I turned to look at my deskmate. I can't sit here? No, I don't want to sit with just anyone. Lu Choping said with a dark expression. If he weren't a guy, he would have kicked him away long ago. Who gave him the nerve to sit next to him? I withdrew my gaze and said faintly, then change your seat. Lu Choping and his classmates were bewildered. After snapping back to reality, he was amused. He pointed at himself. Do you know who I am? No, I don't. He didn't introduce himself, so how would I know who he is? Who do you think you are to talk like that? Don't think I won't hit you just because you're a guy. I finally deigned to give him a look. You want to hit me? Get out now or I'll deal with you. I thought about it and said seriously. Then let's fight. We'll fight, and if I win, you'll listen to me from now on. If I lose, I'll listen to you. How about it? The classroom fell silent. Then everyone burst into laughter. Oh my god, that's hilarious. He wants to fight Lu Choping. Doesn't he know how amazing our Sister Ping is? Sister Ping will teach him a lesson. Lu Choping scoffed dismissively. I never fight girls. Not even enough for one of my fingers. I smiled faintly. I think you're afraid to fight me. You're scared of losing. Lu Choping was like a stray dog. He jumped up from his seat abruptly. Me losing? That's a joke. Fine, since you don't know your limits. Then I'll oblige you. Originally, I was going to be magnanimous and not dwell on private matters, given his decent looks. But I didn't expect him to be so ungrateful. He met my gaze, full of disgust. He assumed I was like any other guy. Then it settled. I calmly laid out my books. My posture was extremely proper. It's time to get ready for class on the first line. Xiao Xian, how could that brother of yours be in the same class? Don't your parents let him attend the same class? After Mu Xian returned to the classroom, those she usually played with immediately gathered around to ask. Mu Xian replied keenly. Xiao Xian went to class F. He actually went to F class. So his grades are really bad. Didn't they say your parents dote on him? How could they let him go to F class? F class is just coasting. They're already planning to study abroad after college entrance exams. Most are the youngest or the unfavored ones. There's no need to consider inheriting the family business in the future. They can just collect their allowance and drift along. They don't care at all about their grades. And nobody cares either. As long as they don't cause trouble at school. Everything else is ignored. The Mu family put him in class F. It seems they don't favor him much either. Exactly. Even though he's their biological son. He lived outside for over a decade. Who knows what he's like? How can he compare to the meticulously raised Xian? It seems Xian is still the Mu family's young master. Mu Xian hesitated for a moment. It's because Xiao Chun didn't test well. He said that at first Father Mu wanted to use his connections to transfer me to Class A, but I firmly refused myself. Father Mu is a doting father. Of course, he wouldn't force his son. That's why I ended up in Class F. Mu Xian's friend scoffed. He only gets to go to Class F? That's really pathetic. Little Xian is usually first. This gap is too huge. Mu Xian continued to explain with a clear voice. Xiao Chen didn't want this either. He lived in a Taoist temple before. He never even went to a regular school. Getting into Class F is already great. As long as he studies hard, he can still be transferred to other classes. It's already the second half of the semester. What transfer are you talking about? After the college entrance exams, he'll switch schools. You say he lived in a Taoist temple? Is that true? Upon hearing this shocking news, more classmates gathered around to gossip. There's nothing to say about it. Class is about to start. Hurry back to your seats. Mu Xian pushed his classmates, urging them to return to their seats. But the more he refused to elaborate, the more curious everyone became. They could only guess based on the implied information. Mu Xian sat at her seat. She lowered her head and opened her book, as quiet and well-behaved as always. But suddenly she turned her head to look at her seat. The person who should have been sitting there was familiar, but the seat was empty now. The person who was sitting there was gone. Thinking of Zhang Yan, he seemed to secretly. His gaze swept over a certain spot unintentionally. He retracted his gaze as if struggling. He didn't dare to look any longer. That was the warm spot. Everything changed after what happened. Normally, the classes were at peace with each other, not interfering with each other, disliking each other. Class F was at the lower end of the trial. The further forward you went, the less you disdained interaction. But today was different. After class, a student who had just gone out ran back quickly, shouting excitedly, big news, someone from Class F is going to fight. Are you crazy? What's surprising about Class F fighting? It's more surprising when they don't fight. No, it's not. The student who ran back stomped his feet. His gaze meaningfully fell on Mu Xian. Mu Xian was confused by the look. The student deliberately acted mysterious. Do you know who's fighting Lu Qiuping? His gaze fell on Mu Xian again. Such an obvious hint. People around couldn't ignore it even if they tried. Mu Xian's expression was about to freeze. Everyone exchanged glances. A boy she was good friends with asked, "Are you implying that Xiao Xian's brother has been a prominent figure since middle school, even though he's just a nobody?" That's right, it's Mu Chun. And Class F people said it themselves. And they said Mu Chun was the one who initiated the provocation, saying they'd meet in the grove after school. The student joked, "Hey, look at Mu Xian. Mu Xian, classmate. Your brother is quite something. He actually dares to challenge Lu Qiuping. Did he learn some skills? Must be impressive. Are you sure your classmates weren't joking?" Mu Xian suddenly stood up and walked out, feeling both angry and anxious. Has Mu Chen gone crazy? Who would he dare provoke? Does he think school is the Mu family estate, where everyone indulges him, lets him act however he pleases? He stormed off to F class to find Mu Chun. But he stopped halfway. He bit his lip hard, clenched his fists tightly. His expression flickered. If I stopped him, that would be good. Preventing trouble and blame from mom and dad. But if I don't stop him, and he really fights with Lu Qiuping, no matter what, it will cause trouble. I haven't had much contact with Lu Qiuping. I've heard plenty about him. I know the Lu family isn't just any family. Mu Chun picked a fight with him. He gritted his teeth and turned back. Forget it, I'm not getting involved. Even if I try to talk him out of it, he won't listen. He might even say something hurtful, and end up embarrassing me along with him. Didn't they say they'd fight after school? I'll try to talk to him again after school. If he doesn't listen, I'll call big sister. Mom and dad won't blame her for it. Class F's atmosphere was buzzing all morning. They overheard the two talking in the hall. But they didn't take it seriously at all. After class, they focused on a few words, telling Qiuping not to argue with guys. Sometimes his demeanor. He left after saying that. He knew a bit about Lu Qiuping. He figured he wouldn't reveal his true feelings out of the blue. But he didn't expect I wasn't a pushover either. So, as soon as class ended, Class F, a mighty throng, surrounded him, and headed towards the small woods behind the school. I glanced at the classmates who followed. My gaze fell on Lu Qiuping. I wanted to remind him to let the unrelated classmates leave first. Otherwise, it might be embarrassing later. It's natural to want to save face. This happens often in Wangxi City. If you can't beat Ku Hao, come to me for justice. Is this how you seek justice? If you're not as good as others, just accept your fate. Later, no one bothered me with trivial matters. I managed many affairs in place of my sister. How could I possibly deal with such a small matter? Lu Qiuping thought there was something wrong with my eyes, but he had no proof. How do you want to fight? Before it all begins. As long as you sincerely admit your mistake, this matter will be over. I'll be generous and won't fuss with you. Lu Qiuping said arrogantly. It's really embarrassing to fight with a guy. Even if I win, I'll probably be ridiculed. But I can't just let this go. Where will his pride go? So he has to apologize and admit his mistake. Fight however you're good at fighting. Enough talk, let's get started. I need to get home early. The Mu family driver is probably here. Lu Qiuping, enraged, returned to school. A good friend came to my door, avoiding a fight. There's no need for me to be too polite. It's rare for him to cause trouble. But they didn't appreciate it at all. Mu Xian left as soon as school ended. His classmates thought he went to stop it. He did go to the grove. He glanced from afar and turned to leave, heading straight for the school gate. Arriving at the school gate, he quickly saw the Mu family's car. The person who got out of the driver's seat was the eldest sister, Mu Wanting. Her eyes lit up and she walked over quickly. She spoke in a hurry. Eldest sister, you're here at the right time. Xiao Chun is going to fight someone. Quick, go stop her. Mu Wanting was completely stunned. She thought she misheard. Fight? You said Xiao Chun is going to fight someone. Mu Xian looked anxious and worried. I don't know how, but I just got to school. Just like that jerk in class. We arranged to fight in the woods after school, and I couldn't stop her. Big sister, hurry up and go. What if she gets beaten up if you're late? Mu Wanting got anxious when she heard this. Without asking further questions, she headed for the school. The gatekeeper tried to stop her. She presented her identity, saying there was trouble with a child at home. The gatekeeper didn't dare to stop her further, and let her in. Mu Xian anxiously led big sister to the woods. Her demeanor was flawless, but her eyes occasionally flashed with a seven-colored light. Mu Wanting was worried her brother didn't have an assistant. The two of them hurried to the woods. But the scene stunned them both, and they fell silent, especially Mu Wanting. She was starting to question her life right now. She thought she saw her brother being bullied. Why did you come to school? It's getting late, let's go home. Mu Wanting finally came to her senses. When she saw I had already walked several meters away, She quickly chased after me. She waited until we got back in the car. She finally regained her composure and her voice. Her eyes were extremely complex. She looked at me with an ineffable expression. I looked at her and kept talking. Oh, I just had a fight with someone. I won. This little thing isn't worth telling Mom and Dad about, so they don't worry. What do you think? She felt this was wrong. How could she fight with someone? And why did she win? Did you train? Besides this reason, I couldn't think of any other explanation. Isn't that exactly why? And quite skillful, too. In Wangxi City, besides my sisters, I'm the most skilled. Mu Wanting looked at me and fell silent. At this moment, Mu Xian finally caught up, opened the car door and got into the back seat, a little out of breath. Mu Wanting met my cold gaze. Couldn't help but choke. I subconsciously glanced at Mu Wanting. She was lost in shock. She didn't notice my gaze at all. No reaction at all. Mu Xian looked wronged and unwilling. Lowered her eyes. I understand. I won't mention it to Mom and Dad. Xiao Cheng never mentioned training. On the way, Mu Wanting couldn't help but ask. You didn't ask. I answered righteously. Mu Wanting was stunned for a moment. She thought about it and felt guilty. Xiao Cheng didn't care enough when he got home. Never proactively inquired or understood. Even worried that Xiao Xian would be wronged. Straightforward and impetuous. Didn't know how to be tactful. Didn't know how to be considerate of family. Afraid the family would be in chaos. He's her own brother. Her full sibling. Only knew he grew up in a Taoist temple. Didn't care how he grew up. What kind of life he lived. A few months after their mother passed away. How did he spend it alone? Did he encounter anything bad? So he learned self-defense skills. When I got home, I was with Shui Ro for the first time. I asked about your school day. I asked carefully. My answer was flawless. How could she imagine her obedient son fighting? She was relieved to hear good things. Mu Xian wanted to expose this, but she didn't dare to take the risk. Finally told herself to forget it. If I said it, I probably wouldn't be punished. I would end up in a worse situation. This made her feel better. We might have guests coming over recently. Shuero, please make arrangements. Mu Fu said at the dinner table. Shuero was a little surprised. We're having guests. How would she know about that? Mu Fu slightly furrowed his brows, seeming a little confused. It's the fifth family's old madam in the capital. What fifth family old madam? Pei Shuero became truly serious now. We've never socialized with them. Why would the old madam come as a guest? Mu Fu thought for a moment and replied. It wouldn't really be considered a guest. The old madam is in Heir on business. And doesn't want to stay in a hotel. The fifth family doesn't have a place here. My eldest sister knew and arranged for her to be received. Why would eldest sister do this? Without asking us first. I don't need to think to know what her intentions are. Although the fifth family in the capital isn't top tier. Their name might not rank. It doesn't affect their status or influence. The fifth family is neither official nor commercial. It's by deduction, not by changing fate. Legend has it our ancestor deduced a national crisis and reversed the entire nation's destiny. That's how the empire came to be. Our ancestor revealed heavenly secrets and died prematurely. Though the fifth family established its status, reaching the peak of prestige and power, everything has its price. The nation's destiny was altered. How could it be offset by just one life? From then on, the fifth family's descendants dwindled. A vast lineage reduced to just 2 branches. A total of 3 children across 2 branches in 1 year. And only one in the direct line. What's worse, the direct descendant, the golden child, years ago, for some unknown reason, reportedly became a vegetable. He could go at any moment. With descendants dwindling, their abilities also declined. The direct line, it said, doesn't even know what intent is. For a noble family to fall to such a state is truly lamentable. No one dares to underestimate the fifth family. They are the family protected from above. The one lying there grew up in the president's residence. The supreme ruler loved him like his own child. He put great effort into curing him. He declared that whoever cured him would be rewarded. Even if the fifth family is in decline, it's beyond reach. A sinking ship still has some nails left. What benefits does Aunt want to gain? But what does that have to do with their family? The old lady is not young anymore. What if something happens? Who can bear the responsibility? If Aunt is well received, she will profit. They gain nothing in Heir. It's simply a thankless task. Mu father saw his wife's expression and knew what she was thinking. She didn't want to fight over this matter either. Splitting the family and leaving the capital was too clear. He didn't have overly ambitious goals. His efforts were for his wife and children to have a good life. No worries about food or clothing, plenty of money to spend happily. His wife wanted to be a rich lady and get beauty treatments. She could go abroad for travel and fashion shows. His wife provided the best educational environment. A father cannot manage his child's entire life. If they lack the ability to live an ordinary life in the future, I won't be their mule. As for my son, Xiao Chun, I have to take care of him for life. He suffered too much in his first half of life. He must be compensated in his later life. It's good that you want to invest in the fifth family. Build good relationships. Find a good marriage prospect in the future. I can't say it in front of the children. Don't overthink it. Even if I agree, they might not come. If we can really host them, that's a good thing. Having more connections never hurts. Pei Shuero could only nod. Someone in the capital has had thoughts. If we don't agree, the elder aunt will make the matriarch step in. The Mu family's children performed similarly. Only I didn't even lift my eyelids. I focused intently on eating dinner, as if facing a peerless delicacy. The Mu manor was filled with worry. Xiao Chun was raised too naively. It's hard to say if it's a good thing or a bad thing. If he can't find someone sincere in the future, marrying into a wealthy family and being used up and discarded, marrying an ordinary person, and I'm reluctant for him to suffer. Want my wife to teach more in the future. Society is too complex and naive. While Father Mu was lost in thought, I swallowed the last bite, ended dinner with satisfaction, but met my old father's complicated gaze. I paused, wondering if I ate too much. Worried I overate? How could I worry about everyone overeating? Little did I expect he was worried I'd pass out. The moment I stepped into F1 at school, the noisy classroom seemed to hit the mute button. Everyone shut up. While seemingly busy with their own things, they stole glances at me from time to time. Their eyes were extremely strange. I walked to my seat without looking left or right. Lu Choping next to me had a dark expression. Why aren't you saying anything? Waiting for me to humiliate him. Waited left and right, no movement. I took out my textbook and started reading. Only then could he not help but speak. What exactly is going on? One sentence. I gave him a strange glance. Lu Choping slammed his hand on the table and roared at me. You're playing me. Some of the guys who came into the class cleared out the space around them. I blinked innocently. You're talking about the fight yesterday. Didn't you lose? Now I'm your boss. You dare treat me like this? I furrowed my brow deeply, feeling the need to establish dominance. I stood up from my seat and walked to the podium, scanning my gaze across the class, cold and full of pressure. From now on, I'm the boss of F1. If you're not happy about it, challenge me. From now on, you listen to me, understand? Even though I defeated Lu Choping, F1 wasn't convinced by me. A new transfer student, and a man at that. Why should he be the boss? Even if Lu Choping lost, there are still others here. Make them listen to a guy. Don't think just because you won, that's enough. Who knows if you got here by luck, or by plotting and schemes. Newbie, don't be so arrogant. It's just that we only recognize Pungjia. My eyebrows are like delicate green willows. You recognize Lu Choping. Lu Choping recognizes me. But that's not the same thing. Is this Mu Chen crazy? I don't waste my breath on others. My gaze fell on Lu Choping. Do you acknowledge yesterday's result? If not, there's nothing I can do. After all, someone shameless is invincible. Of course, there's nothing I can do. What kind of biased speech is this? He was so angry he laughed out loud. His fierce gaze stared directly at me. Grinding his teeth, he spat out 2 words. I acknowledge it. Revenge is a dish best served cold. I firmly believe yesterday was an accident. It must have been some trickery that won. I didn't even have time to see the move. I was already on the ground, having experienced plenty of real fights. How could I not last one move? This is simply impossible. I looked at Tai Gong with utter disdain. Do you think I want to be the boss? I don't want to be it at all. Is it easy to be the boss? In less pleasant terms, it's being a nanny who hasn't even gotten revenge. Working yourself to death. Not wanting to be in this world, yet working so hard. For the sake of merit, what else can I do? Coming to F1 was an accident. I had originally agreed to go to the general store. Walking down the corridor, I noticed something was wrong. 2 masses of energy were swirling in the air. Small black and white energy orbs intertwined. The purple energy mass was at a disadvantage. It would soon be suppressed by the black one. The black and white orbs signify a benefactor. Accompanied by black malevolent energy, the situation is dire. I was immediately intrigued. This opportunity to help the benefactor remove the malevolent energy. Knowing that F1 was below, it means the benefactor is at F1. Of course, it can't be let go. I'll observe. That's why I enrolled in F1. Lu Choping is my lucky and unlucky benefactor. Lu Choping, you don't see me. The D family is really coming to our house. The matter was brought up again at the dinner table. It's not a discussion, but an announcement. People from the D family are coming. Her mind raced. Only I was oblivious to the outside world. All my other thoughts were just focused on eating. Pei Shuero's heart became complicated. She's so naive. What will happen to her later? She's not taking such a big matter seriously. Worried about big disputes. Xiao Chun, what do you think about this? Pei Shuero suddenly asked. As I was enjoying the delicious food, I jolted. In the blink of an eye, everyone was looking at me, as if waiting for me to come up with a solution. I had to put down my chopsticks. Swallowing the food, I thought for a moment. Since they're coming, let's host them well. Just treat them as regular guests. Mu Xian couldn't help but retort when she heard that. Those are people from the fifth family. How can they be treated as mere regular guests? If you want to be treated like a VIP, there are plenty of people who can do that. You can get that kind of service at a hotel too. But they didn't. Instead, they came to our house. Why? Don't they want to be pampered like treasures? Not everyone wants to be put on a pedestal. Mu Fufeng Yilong pondered. Soon, his brow unfurrowed, and he smiled. Xiaochen makes sense. The fifth family isn't ordinary. Since they've come to our home, a thorough reception from Uncle Li should suffice. Being overly grand would seem insincere. Pei Shuai-Ro also understood. Xiaochen is absolutely right. The old madam is a low-key person. She rarely appears in the capital. She's someone who dislikes showing off. Just treat them as regular guests. Otherwise, where can they not find a good place? The Mu family's Chen-Yin will talk about it in a while. Fine, that's how it'll be. He actually found it strange too. Why would he go to the Di Wu family's house as a guest? How did he end up thinking of the Mu family? He asked his eldest sister in the capital and got yelled at. She said if a good opportunity falls into someone else's lap, they should definitely seize it and use it well. But he seemed to be pushing it away. Why dig into the root of it all? What kind of feelings could the Di Wu family have? They wouldn't even take the family business if it were given away for free. He hung up the phone right then and there. The Di Wu family couldn't possibly be plotting against the Mu family. Since you're here, you might as well make the best of it. Just don't offend the Di Wu family. I'm not interested in benefits. I can scheme for them myself if it comes to it. Receiving the old madam was definitely planned. Mu Xian saw that he actually agreed. She didn't know what to say. What is this if not recklessness? Letting things get ridiculous. Joking about his future and his livelihood. He wanted to say something. He'll get tested and then go back. Once the Di Wu family is staying at the house, he'll figure something out then. He made up his mind to think for himself. I don't care about impressing any guests at the house. The old lady is ignoring me anyway. I don't need to entertain her. It's better to think about how to win over Ru Qiuping. In the blink of an eye, it's been over half a month since school started. I've adapted very well. I think contemporary children are too fortunate. Boys can also attend school to study. As long as their abilities allow, they can keep studying. This is an excellent thing. He definitely never experienced this before. The F-class people saw me become the boss without their permission. I'm serious and well-behaved in class and don't mess around. After class, I diligently review and do my homework. I'm clearly a good student. Our F-class isn't just any class. Ping Jia, are we just going to let this go on? He's going to turn us into one class. Jiling Shuang screamed in despair. Mu Chun is going too far. It's enough that he's being a good student himself. He's forcing them to be good students too. No roughhousing that disrupts the lecture. No skipping class, no not doing homework. Can't believe they're even smoking. If you can't answer, you'll be punished. Until it's figured out. He's not a student, he's the homeroom teacher, right? No one is as dedicated as him. Is he crazy? Ru Qiuping's mouth twitched as he thought of these things. Provoked and defeated him at the start. Suppressed the F-class's resistance. Thought he was so great, quite capable. Could it really be the legendary victory and defeat? Ru Qiuping was also very annoyed. Can't beat him, what can be done? Recalling that strange event. Doesn't want to accept being beaten by a guy. Wants to restore prestige but fears losing face. Must ensure it's foolproof. Thinks Mu Chun is not simple. This can be put aside for now. I need to go back to the capital. We'll talk when I get back. Ru Qiuping, you're not annoyed, you said. With a hint of irritability. Jiling Shuang tore silently. Didn't dare to speak. Those who know Ping Jie well know. He strongly resists and hates the capital. Every time he returns to the capital, his mood is bad. Chun Yusang suppressed violence. Doesn't dare to frown. Lai Qingqiu patted Ping Jie's shoulder. If you have something, say it, don't carry it alone. Jiling Shuang quickly chimed in. Ping Jie, we are sisters. Ru Qiuping chuckled. His eyes were moist. Going back to the capital isn't walking into a fire. What are you afraid of? The two looked at each other, silent. Afraid of what happened last year before returning to the capital. Didn't take it seriously back then. Ended up losing half my life upon return. Covered by clothes not healed. Red, swollen, and bruised. Felt like blood vessels would burst any moment. It hurt so much with a light touch. Took over a month to recover. After recovery, resumed familiar appearance. As if nothing happened. Tried asking and found out it was strange. His cold eyes stare at people, even daring not to ask more. It's a psychological shadow. Knowing I care about myself. Ru Qiuping smiled, warmth in his eyes. Alright, stop being so effeminate. I can protect myself. I'm not a kid anymore. I'll fight back. On the third day, I noticed Lu was gone. Thought he didn't come, but he was absent. He beckoned Ji Ling Shuang over. The gesture was like calling a puppy. I wanted to ignore it, pretend I didn't see it. Felt a chill, cold air enveloping me. Moved for a while. Looked over reflexively. Saw me staring at him and smiling. With coldness in my eyes. He couldn't help but overthink, thinking the past was good. Otherwise, I wouldn't know the consequences. Definitely not what I wanted to see. What are you doing? Not convinced? What are you mad about? Where's Ru Choping? I wanted to retort, but I didn't dare to confront him. Ping Jie asked for leave and isn't coming. I'll take it off and think. Asking for leave isn't good. Bad luck brings disaster. It harms the body and soul. The evil energy overwhelms the spirit. This is not a good thing. He asked for leave. Where did he go? What did he do? I heard this interrogation. What a sham. Why are you interrogating a criminal? Even if you declared yourself the F-class leader, you don't have the right to treat us like criminals. I looked at Ning Shuang with a confused expression. That name is really something. On the third day I asked for leave. The Mu family decided to treat the guests normally. They had to put on a show. Mu Mansion waved his hand. The whole family mobilized. They asked for leave to welcome distinguished guests at home. I don't care if you ask for leave, just do it. I don't know what's going on in F-class. They mocked me yesterday. After the game, they threw me aside. My words went in one ear and out the other. School, homework, and coming home as usual. Went to bed early, in a good mood. Who would have thought something would happen? Woke up, looked for something, and called out to someone. Found I couldn't make a sound. Thought I wasn't awake yet, so I cleared my throat and shouted. My voice changed and I became mute. Felt like I was dreaming, touched my throat, and opened my mouth. A silent scream and I rushed out. The Mu family was in chaos. Didn't connect it to getting sick yesterday. Went to the hospital for a checkup, no problems found. My vocal cords and organs were fine. Couldn't speak, my mouth opened silently. The doctor attributed it to psychological issues. Life had been smooth recently, nothing had happened. Suggested resting at home and adjusting my mindset. Said it might be better in a few hours. Heard the doctor and the class erupted. Some people were in trouble. Someone mysteriously lowered their voice. Jin Ling Shuang heard it and asked what happened. A classmate sitting next to me shared gossip. Welcome to our family's situation. The maid and dog walker heard. Pu Lei suddenly became mute this morning. People around suspected it was fake. How did they suddenly become mute? They were fine on voice chat last night. It's true, the maid and old man were chatting. They went to the hospital and couldn't find anything wrong. It's caused by psychological reasons. And a few of their close friends. All took leave today as if. Everyone around looked at each other, bewildered. Didn't know whether to believe it or not. It was bizarre and they didn't connect it to yesterday. Only Jin Ling Shuang and Lai Qingqiu stepped forward. Remembered what I said yesterday. I'll punish you by making you unable to speak for 3 days. Jin Ling Shuang got goosebumps. Thought Ling Song was too weird. Qingqiu, does this have anything to do with Muchan? It makes you suspicious, doesn't it? After saying it yesterday, it happened today. It's exactly like the punishment. This is too much of a coincidence. Lai Qingqiu furrowed his brows. Lai Qingqiu took a deep breath. Whether it's a coincidence or not, let's not mess with him anymore from now on. This guy is really unfathomable. What if he really did it? Our fate would probably be even worse. Ji Ling Shuang nodded desperately. He thought the same. From that day on, the atmosphere in the classroom changed. No one dared to be loud or roughhousing anymore. They all obediently listened to me and read books. I watched all of this with satisfaction. As long as they didn't cause any more trouble, I couldn't be bothered to deal with them using tricks. The following days were actually peaceful. However, the online opinions became increasingly heated. Regarding the plague, the parents presented evidence. They handed it directly to the police for processing. The police began an investigation and collected evidence. The truth of what happened in the business world back then was revealed. Jiang Yan and several negligent classmates were all severely disciplined by the school and were required to withdraw from school. The matter could finally no longer be concealed. Mu Xian was also restless at home. She was anxious and distracted all day long. The Mu family watched the news reports and learned that Jiang Yan was implicated in a murder case. Everyone was shocked and full of dread. Pei Shuero looked at Mu Xian and asked, Xiao Xian, be honest with Mom. Did you participate in what Jiang Yan did? Mu Xian's face turned as pale as paper. With a plop, she knelt on the ground. Then I really didn't participate in harming anyone. I was just watching from the side. I didn't dare to stop them then. I truly know I was wrong. Mu Fu and the sisters listened, their eyes filled with deep disappointment. Although she didn't directly push him, standing by and condoning their actions was equally unforgivable wickedness. Mu Fu, with a stern face, made his decision. The Mu family can't keep a distinguished guest like you. I'll give you some living expenses. You can move out and live on your own. From now on, do your best for yourself. Mu Xian cried and begged everyone, but this time no one felt soft-hearted or favored her. Even Mu Yue turned her head away, though he usually wasn't the sharpest, but they also knew right from wrong. Mu Xian was eventually sent away from the Mu family. Their family business faced boycotts. Companies went bankrupt or were on the verge of collapse. Now they've truly reaped what they sowed. When Umo watched me in the room, there was no longer any resentment in his eyes. Thank you for getting justice for me. Seeing them receive their just punishment, I could finally leave with peace of mind. I smiled and nodded. Go reincarnate. In your next life you will be safe and prosperous. He dissolved into specks of starlight. A surge of pure merit flowed into my body. I felt my strength greatly replenished. Life returned to its former peace. I became the anchor of the deaf class, leading all my classmates through challenges. Lu Qiuping also closed down his social enterprise. He got into a good university. I enjoyed the family affection at the Mu household. Mom, Dad, and my sisters all doted on me. Even though I still kept to myself and was indifferent to others, they knew I had a kind heart. They were all tolerant of my little quirks. Life in the mortal world is quite beautiful. As for the identity of the young master of Wang Xicheng, I'll wait until I've experienced this life. Then I'll go back to take over those matters.